following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Alongside Interstate 20 between Birmingham and Atlanta sits the biggest, fastest track in NASCAR, the Talladega Superspeedway. A massive 2 2/3 miles around with turns an imposing 5 stories tall. Twice each year, fans by the thousands bring their tents, campers, and motorhomes and make this place quite the scene. It's a high-energy party for sure. But now the action moves inside the gates, where 43 drivers are about to climb aboard their machines for a white-knuckle 312-mile ride. Bumper to bumper, door to door at over 190 miles per hour. Breathtaking racing you'll only find here. Racing that almost always comes down to a frantic finish like those we've seen the past 2 years. It's NASCAR's wildest ride, Talladega, next.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. Today, the NASCAR Nationwide Series makes its once-a-year stop at the world's fastest speedway, the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. The lore and history of this place is pretty unique. The story goes that the property here was long ago a Native American burial ground, the Creek tribe who lived in the area, as well as parts of Mississippi and Georgia. During World War II, the Anniston Air Force Base was here, used as a training facility. Construction of the track began on the site in May 1968. The fastest ever qualifying lap in NASCAR recorded here by Bill Elliott, May 3rd, 1987, obviously before restricted engines were implemented. Seating capacity over 143,000. The 212-acre infield holds a lot more. The city of Talladega's normal population, just over 15,000. The 33rd largest city in Alabama, but with 160,000 plus on race weekend, it becomes the 4th largest city in the state. While many people consider this track to be Daytona's twin, there are many things different. Among them, the location of the start-finish line, which is between the Tri-Oval and Turn 1 and overlooking that stripe, our ESPN pit studio, where we'll be trying to keep Brad in his seat for that fantastic finish. Inside, Alan Bestwick with Dale Jarrett and Brad Daugherty. We welcome you to our coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. Go ahead.
Here we go. This is it. 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide sometimes, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, 190 miles an hour, rooting, gouging, hauling the heat, and at the end of 117 laps, these guys get out, they roll the oxygen in, because that's the only time they get to breathe is when this is over.
But seriously, we are going to see some good racing today.
You want me to follow that?
Somebody has to.
We're going to see great racing. The package that they have here for the restrictor plate racing is just phenomenal. These guys love it. They can draft. They can bump draft. We're going to see just a lot of fantastic racing, side-by-side, close racing.
As a driver, what do you think about before the start of a Talladega race?
You think that you hope you missed a big wreck, because we hear that talked about, but you really do. You're concerned. Yeah, you have those concerns as, are you going to be in the middle of it, or are you going to be okay? But it's very tense. These drivers have a much harder grip on the steering wheel here today than anywhere else.
Yeah, I was talking to Elliott Sadler yesterday, and he was telling me, he says, you just try not to think about anything but racing the racetrack. There's so much going on around you. You know it's there, but you don't want to think about it because you become overwhelmed. You have to concentrate on space and time.
Qualifying for this race was held on Friday morning here local time. Ryan Newman is this week's driver of the Kevin Harvick Incorporated 33 Chevy, and he put it on the pole, just shy of 186 miles an hour. And since the pole winner won the race last year, I guess that makes Newman one of the favorites for today. Dave Burns.
Could be, Alan. You know, Newman has an eclectic collection of personal vehicles. He's driven about everything in racing. But this is the first time you've driven a Nationwide car with one of those roof strips,
taxi cab signs.
Taxi cab signs across the top of it. So what's that been like for you? It's a different feel at a very big racetrack.
Well, we got a little bit of experience and practice to feel it, but it's not the same. It's not 3 wide, 3 deep, and all that stuff. So a bit interesting to see what it's like when we all get shuffled back there at different times. But the Reams Chevrolet was really good, really fast, obviously in qualifying, and thank Kevin and Delana for the opportunity to drive it.
Ryan Newman in the black and red 33 car today. Alan?
He will lead the field to the green flag shortly, Dave. This is the 8th race of the Nationwide Series season. The first 7 have set the story of the Carl Edwards versus Kyle Busch championship fight, a story that took a little twist of plot 1 week ago.
Neither one really want to give an inch. They're battling for a championship. They're battling to win here tonight.
Tire going down or something. It's so tight. I don't know what's wrong with it.
You
hear the complaints emanating from Kyle Busch.
Something drastically just changed. Ditch over, let's go.
Maybe some concern in the 60 camp.
And the 60 car really struggling.
Something's definitely amiss in the rear end.
Wow, how the drama builds.
Think the motor's going to blow up.
The 60 car being shown in 35th position, now 25 laps down. Kyle Busch back on the lead lap.
We're going to see if we can't hold on and make up a couple spots. This balls to the wall time, man. They got to go.
We may look back on this night, maybe having a major factor in determining who becomes the champion.
And last weekend was certainly a tough one to swallow for you and the entire 60 team, Carl. You guys went in, the leaders came out, you're trailing 47 points. But how do you look forward now that we're at Talladega? Realistically speaking, how important is your points position?
Well, I mean, the points are, you know, the way the Nationwide Series is right now, the points are important all season. But, you know, after the race last week, I was talking to Shannon Spake, and, you know, she said it best. You know, it's a long season yet to go. So we just got to come out of Talladega here with a good run. And, you know, last week was so disappointing. I mean, I watched Dan Stillman. That's the first time I've seen that clip of him just, you know, putting his head in his hands. And that's how we all kind of felt. But the key is we were running well. If we can do that, we're going to be all right.
We're back at a restrictor plate track. You've never won one of these. What is it about these places that make it so challenging?
They're just tough. You know, I was telling somebody earlier today, if experience counts for anything, I've learned all the things that you're not supposed to do at these places. So hopefully I can apply that today. And, you know, we ran really well at Daytona. They've got a great Save-A-Lot Fusion prepared today. And hopefully it's fast enough and our luck works out. And maybe we get that first win.
Qualified well, qualified 6th. Let's go over to Vince Welch, who's with the man that Carl is now following.
And that's Kyle Busch. He is indeed the points leader. He's already won a couple of times this season. Kyle, at a place like Talladega that races as crazy as this place seems to race, how much can you even think about points during the course of the race?
You really can. I mean, you're trying to stay out of the mess, but you never know when or where the mess is going to start or how it's going to happen, if you're going to be involved or not. So it's just a crapshoot race, and, you know, you take what you can get and come out of here with a good day, bad day, or indifferent day.
We like to listen into the spotter communication. You and your spotter, Jeff Dickerson, seem to really be on the same wavelength. How important is his role here today?
It's really important here for Jeff. You know, he feeds me all the information that I could stand, and tries to tell me what's going on behind me most of all, just so I know that I can pay attention to out front, more so than having to watch my mirror, but I still watch my mirror an awful lot. So Jeff's role is going to be very important today.
Kyle Busch, he won the Cup race here last year, Alan, but yet to win in the Nationwide Series. He goes off 9th today.
All right, Vince, thank you. When you look at how these two drivers have fared in this race, you really get a sense of just how sweet and sour Talladega can be. Both have had some success here, but both have also been in the big wreck. An average finish of 20th and 21st for two of the division's best guys, respectively. That is the up and down of Talladega. This championship as a driver and owner, is it too soon to be talking about it and watching it?
No, not as a driver. You have to, if you're going to be committed to trying to win a championship, you have to think about it each and every week. And you can't take the week off just because it's Talladega and something might happen. You have to go out there, and with every move that you're making, you're thinking, can this cost me a lot of points? I mean, it's not something that they just think, you know, adding up the points at that point in time, but they're saying you have to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, this could really cost me if I'm not careful.
Yeah, and from the media side, you know, we got to be careful not to make too big a deal out of it. But also, as I talked to Kyle Busch, because last year he went to the back of the pack trying to protect his position and got caught up in a huge wreck. I said, do you points race? He said, yes, but it's predetermined by how well my race car's running. If I got a race car that'll stay out front, that's where I want to be. If I don't, I've got to be smart and pick my way through the field.
Yeah, the term points racing kind of referred to in NASCAR terms as conservative racing, protecting those points. And you were just touching on that a minute ago. You kind of are points racing all the time, but there are specific strategies you can take here.
Yeah, you know, and just as Brad was saying right there, what you can do here today is if you find yourself back in the middle of the pack, and we'll talk about Carl and Kyle. If they find themselves in a position they don't like what's going on, yeah, that opportunity is there to fall back for a little bit, wait till things kind of settle down, and then make your move forward later in the race. It can work. You know, if that big wreck is going to happen and you're able to miss it, it's a lot easier to pass 20 of them than it is 40.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, we'll see how it unfolds as they go racing for 312 miles, 117 laps in Talladega, Alabama.
Our countdown on ABC, brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Going too fast, I think I'm going to crash.
We have a problem.
Oh, it's going to be a bad wreck.
Oh, no. Oh, trouble.
It's hard. We're in it, boys. We're in it.
It's the big one. Trouble.
I'm going to crash.
Okay, I'm okay.
Look at this car. That'll be half the field right there.
Now, the big packs of cars racing so closely together at such high speeds that create so much excitement here at Talladega also create the possibility or the likelihood of the big wreck. Always a topic that must be discussed as we close in on the green flag. Drafting, racing in a pack, and the big wreck. Do drivers fear the big wreck?
It's a good thing they're a driver induction. Didn't see that right there. They would then. No, they're more concerned than you are fearing. You know, you have the greatest safety innovations that we have in the sport today. So they know that the likelihood of that to happen is there, but they're not afraid of it. These drivers really are fearless.
A guy who's raced here before, like yourself, a guy who never has, like 99.9% of us watching. What's it like to be in one of those cars in that situation?
Well, if you can put yourself in rush hour traffic, you're in the middle all the time, but you're doing it at 190 miles an hour. You have cars all around you. Your spotters in your ear. You don't have enough mirrors and eyes to keep up with everything. You've got a death grip on the steering wheel, and you're trying to make sure that you make the right move. We see right here, you don't want to get a bump draft in the middle of the turn like that right there, but you're just trying to make your moves go forward. You have to resist that urge sometimes whenever that RPM wants to go up to make sure that you are making the right move and you have that help.
Boy, that is excellent, because I talked to Jeff Gordon this morning, and this follows up what you're saying, DJ. He says you have to be patient, and it's hard to do that with everything going on around you. He said you're going to get runs, and you're going to have runs that take you backwards. When you go backwards, you don't want to push the issue too quick, because that's when the big one happens. You have to be patient and let your race car do its job here at Talladega.
And if you're new to NASCAR, the term bump drafting, something we'll hear about a lot during the race. Basically, guys playing bumper tag on purpose.
Yeah, and with restrictor plate patches that they have here, you get such big runs that these guys are going to run into the back of each other, but there is a time and a place for it. Don't be doing it in the turns or in the tri-oval. Down the straightaways, it's great use. You can propel that car in front of you forward, and if you can get the same from behind you, it can really get you towards the front.
Got that nice picture of the grandstands out behind us. On top of those grandstands is where we need to get you, and it's a big place before the start of the race, so we're going to send you on your way.
Great.
Dale Jarrett, who will join Andy and Doc Punch for the call of the race in a minute. Now, Andy's going to join us now to talk about things that are different here at Talladega from the crew chief's perspective. Andy, most times these guys come down pit road every chance they get to change tires. It's not going to be the case here today.
No, Alan, it's not, because this is the only racetrack on the circuit that tires don't make any difference at all. I mean, you can put them on, and they're not going to make any difference because you're not really up against the edge of grip, especially since they've repaved this track. You'll see some guys come in and put tires on, mostly out of habit probably, but when they do have to put fuel in, which they do have to do that, they have to put fuel in to make it to the end a few times. But when they do that, they'll probably put a few tires on, but not really going to help them much.
And another thing that's different here where the pit stops are concerned, a lot of racetracks you want to pit as far away from other people as you can. Today, you kind of have to do that differently.
Yeah, Alan, when teammates really need to work together at this track, especially when they make their pit stops, because you don't want to run by yourself. You see some guys now on pit road. You've got the Roush guys separated. You've got Carl Edwards over here in pit number 39. He's a half a mile away from Matt Kenseth, which is down in pit stall number 2, and David Reagan, his other teammate, in pit stall 4. Those guys can communicate by hand signals on their pit boxes, but if they're going to include Carl Edwards in the mix when they make their pit stop, they're going to have to probably do that by radio communication through the spotters or through the drivers.
Pit by yourself, you will lose the draft, and you're probably going to lose the race. Andy, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Al.
Driver who hopes his crew makes the right calls in the pits today, and he makes the right moves on the track, is Brian Vickers. He starts second, Shannon.
Alan, there's strategy on pit road, and of course there's strategy on the racetrack. And when you start up front like Brian Vickers is, it opens up all kinds of strategic options. So what is your strategy for the next 117 laps?
Well, hopefully to stay up front. Yeah, I mean, qualifying it's not everything, especially at these places or anywhere for that matter, but it does matter a lot. It changes the strategy you have on and off pit road on the racetrack, but most importantly, you get a good pit stall, and I think that's probably what's going to benefit us the most from qualifying second today is to have that open out, hopefully stay out front when we leave pit road. We've got a really good car today, really proud of the Dollar General Toyota guys, considering where we qualified to have a car this fast and to have to run a smaller plate than everyone else, other manufacturers, really proud of the effort.
Things happen so quickly here at Talladega. When you have a strategy, whether it's pit road or on the racetrack, how difficult is it to stick to that strategy when things are happening so quickly?
Very difficult. Usually you can stick to your strategy. You kind of have a general plan, an idea what you want to do. At these racetracks, people always ask you, you're going to stay up front or you're going to ride in the back? You know, for me, it's always, I just try to stay up front. I've always found that the best place to be out of the wreck is to be ahead of it and not behind it. And something about just riding around the back that just always bothered me. I just never could do that.
All right, Brian Vickers starting up front, looking to stay there for the entire race. Alan?
Okay, Shannon, thanks. We talked about some of what's different for the drivers and crew chiefs here at Talladega. For more on what's different on the cars here, we go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and bring in Tim Brewer. Tim?
As a rule, when we go to the racetrack, we've got one bumper bar at the nose of the cars. But when you come to Talladega, we put bumper bars all over the front end trying to protect it. You'd think he's going to Martinsville, but with a bump drafting, as hard as they hit each other, knocking each other forward, you got to protect the nose of the car. Another thing, NASCAR implemented the roof deflector. What that actually does is makes the hole in the air a lot bigger as the car goes through the air, makes the cars a lot easier to draft, keeps the cars on the ground pretty well too. Back here, we've got the wicker. What this does is actually puts more downforce, more drag on the rear of the car, but it makes the cars drive real well. But when you come up on a guy and you see this yellow stripe on the back of the car, that means you got a rookie in there. You might want to give him a little bit of extra room.
They're giving rookies a lot of room today. They're going to need all they can get.
Might as well make that thing neon flashing. Don't go near him. Because of the big wreck, the drafting action, and so on, it seems in every race here there's a Talladega surprise, someone who has that unexpected result. Look at this list of drivers who've had their best career finish at Talladega.
All right, just so much room here, Alan. If you're in the right place at the right time, you can avoid the big wreck. You can advance your position through attrition here better than any other racetrack.
Couple of candidates today to be that Talladega surprise. How about Bobby Gerhardt, the Pennsylvania veteran? 5 ARCA Series wins at Daytona, 1 here. He qualified 5th. He's got to start in the back because of an alternator belt change. There's Scott Lagasse Jr. He qualified 8th. Watch for him in the 11 car. And DJ Kennington, the Canadian, his best ever starting spot. He lines up 11th today.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
ESPN is your destination for the NBA playoffs tonight. Kobe Bryant and the Lakers take on the Utah Jazz. Lakers lead the series 2-1, but Game 4 in Utah, where the Lakers have gone just 2-10 all-time in playoff games. First round of the NBA playoffs, Lakers, Jazz, ESPN, and also ESPN360.com. Tonight at 9 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
If I could have a superpower,
I guess if I could have a superpower, it'd probably be to fly.
I mean, how cool would it be to be able to fly?
So if I could fly, that'd definitely be what I'd choose.
If I could have a superpower for Talladega, I'd want to be able to see into the future. That way, when the big wreck was coming, I would just back up and get out of the way, watch the wreck, and drive through.
I guess if I had a superpower and could use it anytime, I'd like to have like a force field around me.
If I had superpowers, I would want to be Samantha from Bewitched, because whenever I would need something, I would just go, boom, more horsepower. Boom, take my push out. Boom, I'm loose, you know, tighten me up. Hey, faster pit stop. That would be awesome.
You want one?
I want to be shorter so everybody quit asking me how tall I am.
I can tell you from personal experience, it doesn't work out as well as you think. We saw the top 2 drivers in the Nationwide Series standings earlier. Beyond the top 2, several of the top 10, including Jason Leffler you're looking at now, have great starting spots today, hoping to give their place in the points a boost with a good run.
Keep an eye on this 88 car. He's steadily getting better.
Keselowski just solid again still.
The thing I like about Keselowski is he stays tough all race long.
Take a look at Joey Logano. Well, he has given Carl all he wants. The youngster is going to pick up his first win of the 2009 campaign.
Brendan Gaughan's doing a really good job in this race car.
A rookie driver, Brendan Gaughan, on the pole.
Pretty impressive. Justin Allgaier, what a great race he's had starting from the back.
The youngster doing a remarkable job. The performance of the night belongs to the rookie, Justin Allgaier.
Jason Leffler 4th in points. He's been fast all weekend. Jason, this is one of those tracks that even if you're not so fast, you can get in the draft and maybe be racy during the course of the day. So what does having a fast car do for you?
Well, it makes my job a little easier. You know, this Great Clips Camry is really fast, and you get hung out, or if you get yourself in a bad position, if you have a fast car,
you don't fall as far back. You don't have to rely on other people as much. You still do have to rely on your competitors, but not quite as much. But this thing's a rocket ship, and look forward to having a lot of fun today.
It'll be interesting keeping an eye on the 38. Jason Leffler starts 4th. Jamie?
Well, Vince, one man who has been on a hot streak, 3 third-place finishes in a row, Brad Keselowski. You're usually a single-car team. Here you have a teammate, your boss man, Dale Earnhardt Jr. How much can that impact your race today?
Oh, it's huge. I've got the best teammate you could have here with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he's got a real strong GoDaddy Chevrolet, and I got a strong Klondike Chevrolet, and hopefully they'll stay attached to each other the whole race, and we can go up to the front.
All right, Brad Keselowski rolls off 10th, just ahead of Mr. Restrictor Plate himself, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. 14 drivers racing both today and in tomorrow's 500-miler here, plus 7 former Nationwide Series champions and 3 Daytona 500 winners. And a guy who makes all 3 of those lists, the aforementioned Dale Earnhardt Jr., starts 12th, Dave.
Alan, 6 total wins at this track, so drivers usually feel like they have to go through Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get to victory lane. Do you feel as confident as ever here today, Junior?
As ever? Well, we've been more confident, I guess. We've had better race cars. Stronger race cars. We got a good one today, and you know, it's just a level playing field, more so than it's ever been. But our GoDaddy Chevrolet's qualified well, and it's ran well in the draft, and we got a great team here. We got great engines and brand new body on this car by the G-Boys put a good body on it. So I'm excited to see what we can do. A little bit different package than we brought to Daytona. We really hurt ourselves in Daytona with what we brought to the racetrack, and I think we're doing a lot better on this trip.
All right, another big advantage. Remember, you got us on board today. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be our in-race reporter today. If you want to submit a question that we might use on the air with him, go to ESPN.com, keyword Ask the Driver. Shannon?
Well, it is Matt Kenseth who is behind the wheel of this Roush Fenway number 16 here this weekend. Now, I don't have to tell you that Greg Biffle, your teammate and friend, has won in this car the past 2 times. You feeling a little extra pressure to step it up today, Matt?
Yeah, I've been giving him a hard time. You know, they haven't won a nationwide race in a few years, and now he's won the last 2 that he's been in. Now that we're sharing a car, so you know, Greg has always been awesome in anything he drives. But he's always been really good in these nationwide series cars, and Eddie and all these guys in the City Financial Fusion team have been doing a great job. So I'm looking forward to running today, and we're actually running the next 2 races after that. So I'm looking forward to running it, and hopefully we can get a good finish or get a win in one of them few races.
And get some bragging rights in this 16 car. Matt Kenseth rolls off 3rd. Alan?
Hey, Shannon, thanks. A quick check of our J-Ski news and notes. NASCAR Sprint Cup Awards Banquet moving from its longtime home in New York to Las Vegas. The Nationwide Series Banquet also going to be combined with the Camping World Truck Series Banquet. That'll be held in Miami Beach Monday after the Homestead finale. Another tire test coming up at Indianapolis as Goodyear continues on working getting that set up right for the big July Cup race there. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Casey Mears given 6 race probations by NASCAR after tangling on the cool-down lap last Saturday night in Phoenix. Some other things to point out specifically before today's race, the double yellow line around the bottom of the track.
Yes, sir. All 4 tires have to be below that yellow line.
Out of bounds line, yeah, there you go.
That is the out of bounds line. You can't cross over just like you're on the interstate. Then you have the blend line. As you go around, you have to keep all 4 tires below. As you go through the corner, up on through turn 2, then you can go up on the racetrack.
All right, well, watch the double yellow line and the blend line for rules violators today. A couple other drivers to watch in the race. Defending Nationwide champ Clint Boyer is in the Holiday Inn 29. He starts 7th. Michael Waltrip, 2-time Daytona 500 champ.
Tough here, it'll be tough.
13th starting spot for Mikey, and Joey Logano lines up 16th. NASCAR countdown after this from our ABC stations.
When NASCAR comes to Talladega Superspeedway, you can be sure of 3 things: wild fans, great racing, and the big one.
Talladega is not just a race, it's an event.
Fans are very dedicated. They may not always be pulling for you, but they are dedicated for whoever they are pulling for.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
There's all different types of wreck. There might be a wreck where you just get hit out of nowhere. There might be a wreck where you're just trying to hang on and you almost got it controlled, and then the last second it breaks loose again.
Whenever I'm in a wreck, the initial emotion is always the same: instant confusion.
It's like a shock wave goes through your body. It starts at your toes and it goes right through your body and out your head, knocks the hell out of you.
They were 3 wide, now they're 4 wide.
You really don't realize it until your spotters here and say 3 wide. 4 wide.
Look at that, 4 wide.
5 wide. When he says 5 wide like that, you start looking both ways a little bit.
There's really no point that you can relax. If you lose focus or concentration for a split second, you're going to create a big problem for a lot of people.
The drama and excitement that is NASCAR racing at Talladega about to unfold as we close in on the green flag for the Aaron's 312 on a beautiful afternoon in central Alabama. Let's go trackside for today's opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Alabama Army National Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Jason Grissom of Eureka Baptist Church in Lincoln, Alabama, offers today's invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, creator and sustainer of all, we thank you for this country. We ask your blessings on those that serve our country. Father, we ask for your protection over the drivers, the crews, and the fans today. And we ask these things in the saving name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
He is the country star of the urban cowboy hit, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. Please welcome Johnny Lee as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So as the drivers begin to climb aboard, the questions hanging in the air. What will the right pit strategy be if and when the big wreck happens? Who'll be in it? And just how will that last lap turn out? It's good times at the world's fastest speedway as the fans get ready for some on-track action at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Let's get it on.
You're watching NASCAR on ABC.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, official auto insurance partner of NASCAR. And Toyota, moving forward.
All right, boys and girls, today's the day. This is Talladega. Ain't nobody better to see than the guy we got, right?
Michael stomping ground right here, boys.
It's all about us.
That's it.
All about us today. 99 crew all the way. All right? Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win!
Well, Michael Waltrip's guys fired up on a beautiful day in central Alabama. Clear blue skies, a touch warm, temperatures in the upper 80s. Wonderful day for the fans. Certainly a day these 43 drivers are going to work up a sweat. Guys in the booth may work up a sweat too, jumping up and down, in and out of their chairs, describing all the wild racing we're going to see. Dr. Jerry Punch, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie, be careful up there, gentlemen.
Thank you, AB, and hello, everyone. Glad to have you with us here at Talladega. Folks, simply put, stock car racing here at Talladega is a 200-mile-per-hour thrill show. Not only 30-car drafts inches apart, traveling at a football field a second, but there are wrecks, and they are big ones, 10, 15, 20 cars, spectacular and frightening. And, guys, I know drivers claim they are fearless, but, DJ, when they come here, they got to be concerned. What worries them the most?
Yeah, I think that they're apprehensive. They know that possibility of that wreck happening and them being a part of it
is very big, much larger than at other places. They just want to stay out of it. They're going to do everything that they can to miss that because they know it can hurt if they're involved.
And when you're down there on the pit box or up on the spotter stand, you feel a little bit helpless at this track because you can help your driver stay out of trouble at other racetracks. It's almost impossible to keep them out of trouble here because they are all right on top of each other and anything can happen in a split second.
This field is chock full of star power. Earnhardt, Edwards, Busch, Waltrip, all those guys are here, but realistically it's Talladega. Who can win this race?
Almost everyone. That's why all of these guys are so excited about being here, because if you're in this field, you have a chance to win.
And there are a few guys that might get that win is Jason Leffler, Stephen Wallace, and even Scott Legacy. These guys think they can win strapping in these cars right here.
The numbers show that you indeed can win this race from anywhere in the starting field. Only twice has it been won from the pole. Over half the races here have been won from outside the top 10, including a couple of years ago, Bobby Labonte from 34th spot on a last lap pass. Let's go trackside.
The 2009 Aaron's 312 Grand Marshal is a man who hosts one of the top-rated syndicated and satellite radio shows in the United States and Canada. Please welcome Bubba the Love Sponge Clem as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Ken Butler from Aaron started this, and I'm going to continue it today. I need your all help, Talladega. I'll say, gentlemen, you know what to do. Gentlemen! Thank you!
Fired up. We've got oil pressure. And fired up. Looks good. Hey, we got a little bit of oil pressure. We don't run much. Move, so that was close. 1, 2, 3. You go.
Well, the Love Sponge has got them fired up here, and they are buckled up and ready to roll at Talladega. Today's in-race reporter has been very successful at this racetrack, and why not? The name Earnhardt is synonymous with success at Daytona and Talladega. He's a 6-time winner here, 5 times in a NASCAR Sprint Cup car, and once here back in 2003 when he won both the Nationwide and the Sprint Cup race in the same weekend. He's our in-race reporter. We'll talk to him when we come back. Back on Friday, Ryan the Rocket Man Newman made his NASCAR Nationwide Series debut here at Talladega and proved why he had earned the nickname by blasting his Kevin Harvick-owned Chevrolet to the pole. First start of the season and 12th career pole for Ryan Newman. Flanked on the front row by Brian Vickers, and a great effort by Canadian driver DJ Kennington, fastest Dodge in the field. He will start in 11th spot. While you watch and see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the GoDaddy.com Chevy, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who starts 12th.
Hey, Junior, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You have a copy?
Sure.
Hey, Junior, what can our viewers expect to see from you starting there 12th? It's going to be just going to kind of be patient at the start, or are you going to try to get to the front and lead as much of this as you can?
Well, I don't know. We'll just see what happens with the way things start out. If they get 3 wide and we're not at the front of it, we might drop back a little bit. And this race is pretty fun to move all around the pack and just kind of, you get a little bored, you go to the back, race a little bit, drive back to the front, because just about anybody can do that. So just have a little fun. Hopefully you're there at the end.
All right, well, that sounds like fun. Our next question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Ryan from Kettering, Ohio would like to know, how's the draft in the Nationwide car different than in a Cup car?
Well, the Nationwide car has this big blade on the roof and knocks a big old hole in the air, but it's a little bit harder to draft up on people because of how good the front end is. Now, the COT, it has drag all over it. It has big old fin on the back, and the front end's all boxy and got that splitter and everything. So once you get in the lead, you're pretty much easy pickings for anybody wanting to pass you. Where in these cars, once you get in the lead, you can almost hold people off sometimes. So I kind of like the way these cars draft myself, but because in the COT, it's just really easy. There's no clear advantage in equipment or talent out there with the COT.
All right, Junior, thanks for talking with us today, and have a great day. Now, Andy's going to talk with your crew chief, Brian Camping.
Hey, Brian, Andy Petrie in the booth. Do you have us?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, Brian, tell us a little bit about Talladega pit strategy.
A lot of 2 tires, a lot of fuel only. Trying to keep our driver up front there and keep him out of anything that might happen during the day.
2 tires. So you're going to need tires. You think they'll be important today?
It's hard to tell. They don't wear very much, so you can take 2 tires with not as big a penalty as some places. But as these tracks change, sometimes you never know. 4 tires may be an advantage. You don't know until you do it.
Okay, Brian, what's going to mean more to you today, getting Junior in victory lane or getting a win in your home state of Alabama?
All those things would mean a lot for the guys, Dale, the whole team, but winning a hometown, that's pretty big. A big war eagle.
Okay, Brian, thank you guys for doing this. Have a safe race.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you.
Along with Dale Jr., we'll have cameras inside 7 other onboard cars, including reigning series champion Clint Boyer, who starts 7th, and 2-time Daytona 500 winner Michael Waltrip, whose Aaron's Dream Machine Toyota starts back in lucky number 13. When we come back, we'll give you some draft picks from the pits here at Talladega. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Today, our family of networks will provide you with comprehensive coverage of the draft. The NFL draft in New York on the right side of your screen, and the NASCAR draft here in Talladega on the left. In both cases, critical decisions are being made that could determine the future of your team. Well, let's get some Talladega draft picks from the pit, starting with Shannon Spain.
Well, Doc, my 3 draft picks today are Kerry Earnhardt, Stephen Wallace, and Kenny Wallace. And I picked those 3 drivers based purely on pedigree. The Earnhardts and the Wallaces have been racing here at this racetrack for decades. In fact, back in 2000, it was Kenny Wallace who pushed Dale Earnhardt Sr. to his very last Sprint Cup win right here at this very track. Now, that is one drafting partner I definitely want on my team. Vince Welch?
Well, Shannon, I'm going to start my draft with the 1 car of Mike Bliss. It's been slow all weekend long, but if there's ever a track where you can start at the back and make your way to the front, Talladega is it. I'm also drafting the 6 of David Reagan. Top 10s are no problem, but they've yet to get that first win. This is the place you can get a little help to victory lane. And last but not least, I'm drafting the 15 of Michael Annett in a place where experience can make all the difference in the world. This is a rookie making his first nationwide start here at Talladega. He won an ARCA race here in 2007. Will that make a difference today? He says he wants to stay on the bottom and stay clean until it's go time. Jamie?
Vince, I drafted my 3 drivers for different reasons. First of all, to win here, to be successful, you have to have patience and experience. Jason Keller has that, as well as Joe Nemechek. But my top pick is David Rudiman. He won the dirt race across the street last night. He's pumped up. He's back in Toyota power. Dave Burns?
Jamie, I can't believe there's still great guys left, but I'm going to pick the 0 of Mike Wallace, the 75 of Bobby Gerhart, both restrictor plate veterans and winners on these big tracks. And then a youngster, 22-year-old Justin Allgaier. He's got the speed, he's got the agility, he's got Coach Penske in the owner's box this week as well. So let's see him and how he does today in the draft. Doc?
Folks, glad to have you with us here, the world's fastest stock car facility. If you've been here in the past, you know what's about to happen. If you haven't, folks, you're in for a treat. Racing at Talladega, fast, furious, and frightening. So sit back and enjoy survival of the fastest Talladega style. Restrictor plate racing means they have restricted the horsepower. So, guys, it takes about a half to 2/3 of a lap to get these cars up to speed.
Now, they're just now getting into high gear on the back stretch, and you see now the outside line is getting a little bit of a surge. A little bump drafting already.
Yeah, that really takes place generally at the beginning of this race. I don't know why it happens, but you can see Jason Leffler really giving Brian Vickers a push and's got him up to the front of the pack right now. See Carl Edwards back there in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, sometimes that's not a bad place to be if you're trying to move up to the front, but when you're at the front, you don't want to get caught in the middle.
First time by, and whoop, almost had a rookie lead the first lap. Scott Lagasse Jr. was running in second, and here is the tight spot you're talking about for Carl Edwards.
Hey, he's got a little help right now, but you know, you don't want to get caught in there by yourself, but it can really be a good place to make your way up from the back.
Yeah, he's got Michael Waltrip giving him a push there right now. In that middle with this aero package is not a bad place to be, but as you said, Andy, you want to be going forward.
31 car, that's Kerry Earnhardt, the oldest son for Dale Earnhardt Sr. Got a couple Earnhardts in the field. And up front it is Scott Lagasse Jr., the rookie driver. And one of the guys you talked about, DJ, for maybe being a sleeper today.
Yeah, he did a great job at Daytona. He got caught up in someone else's accident, but I was very impressed with him there.
This is an opportunity racetrack, and here it is. Scott Lagasse taking advantage of this opportunity. He's now leading this race, and it's got to make you feel really good to come to a racetrack this big and lead, and he's got it right now.
I don't know if he's ever been in this position and if he knows exactly what to do out there, but I've seen guys out there that have been here many times, and I'm not sure you ever know what to do as we go 4 wide through turn 2.
While bottom of the racetrack, Kyle Busch, the points leader. There's 20, his teammate Logano.
Still 4. Still 4.
What is that like, DJ? You look to your left, you see cars. Look to your right, and you see 3 more cars.
You just want to get out of it without anything happening. You have a death grip on the steering wheel right now. You don't want it to happen, especially at this point in time of the race. You have a long time to go here.
When you hear him say 4 wide, do you pull your elbows in on the steering wheel?
Yeah, you're ready for anything to happen because you know it could come from either side.
Scott Lagasse still leading this race through the tri-oval.
The high group trying to move up on the outside. That's the 88 car. Brad Keselowski in the Chevy. He's getting a little drafting help. This is Keselowski here getting drafting help from behind by David Reagan.
See Joe Nemechek in the 87 there, beside Clint Boyer. Joe has a lot of success
going through there.
Yeah. And this is the place, if you're going to bump draft, you can do it down the straightaway. This is where it needs to stop as you enter the corner.
Look how smooth that racetrack is, though. It used to be a lot bumpier here before they paved it.
Oh, it's just unbelievable what is there now. When they did this a couple of years ago, it was just like you came to a whole new place. Because before, even though it was wide and it was Talladega, you still had to really work with your car. But now it's just so smooth you can go anywhere. It's like driving a go-kart, really.
There goes Junior to the lead. Taking it on the outside, getting into turn 1.
Middle groove, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. here on lap number 5 is trying to take the lead, but the Toyota roaring back on the bottom of rookie driver, not wanting to give it up.
The fans are loving this. There's no doubt about that. Junior being a big favorite here. Yes, some good help there from Brendan Gaul pushing him up to the front. Now Carl Edwards is going to be that person trying to get Junior out front.
How about that upper line? You got a Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota with Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards, and Michael Waltrip.
You know, sometimes these teammates can be really unlikely when you talk about drafting teammates. Yeah. You know, you think about manufacturers line up with each other, but sometimes as a race develops, you find cars that your car really works with.
And that's really what you need to spend the first part of the race trying to decide is who does your car work best with and who's going to work with you as a driver best.
One of the big questions early on in 2009 was when would Dale Earnhardt Jr. get his mojo back? And he has to get back to victory lane in a Cup car or a Nationwide car. It could happen this weekend here where he has been so successful at Talladega. And what about the impressive start of the rookie driver in that number 11, Jamie?
Doc, it's his first time here. Scott Lagasse Jr., he has the yellow stripes on the bumper. So what did he do? Thursday after practice, went and had a talk with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 5 car. Asked him, hey man, is there anything I can do to be better? Jr. said, hey, hit me harder next time. Let's lock up and go to the front. Right now, you can tell Lagasse's looking for that 5. He has the confidence.
Got to wonder what he's thinking about. This is not only the first time he has led at Talladega, this is the first time he has ever led in a NASCAR Nationwide Series race.
Let's give a call, too, to the Toyotas because they run just a slightly smaller restrictor plate than the other cars do, and they're doing a great job. This car looks strong out there.
Yeah, and that's why I think Carl Edwards looks pretty good on the high side there because he has Michael Waltrip pushing him to the lead. Look, I believe Carl will be in the lead by the time they get back here. But those Toyotas really are strong.
You heard Alan Bestwick talking about a NASCAR countdown. Carl Edwards has never won a restrictor plate race in NASCAR Sprint Cup or Nationwide competition. He had a great run at Daytona to begin the year, finishing second. But boy, what a big push this would be for him to be able to get to victory lane at Talladega.
Yeah, and because he hasn't doesn't mean he can't drive. Wow, here we go. 3 and 4 wide through the tri-oval. That's not an easy thing to do, even with the repaving job. It's still a very difficult place to go through.
Here comes Junior with some momentum on the outside now and some help.
We're talking the real outside now.
Yeah,
a while ago it was 2 by 2. Now it's 3 wide.
That is Jason Keller in the 27 car behind Junior. Keller is a former winner here as well.
How about Stephen Wallace up there in that outside lane, 3 cars back?
Yeah.
Started way back. He's gained 20 spots.
More on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dave.
I talked with our in-race crew chief, Brian Campy, about Dale Earnhardt's run this weekend. He said, you know what, we started in practice defensive driving. He said, but once we made a gear change and a suspension change, the car had better closure. Junior had less wheel input to scrub speed off the car. And he said, now Junior's on offense. And Junior on offense at Talladega, pretty cool.
Yeah, he can be dangerous on offense. I'll tell you, that's a restrictor plate expert in that 5 car.
He just has such a really good knack and feel for where the draft is, how to get that air to best work with his race car, and how to get the other drivers to work with him.
So another one is Michael Waltrip right there in the middle.
Yes.
This 99 car. He is a great restrictor plate race car driver.
Michael getting a little help from behind by Brendan Gaughan, another one of the rookie drivers. And both the Rusty Wallace cars running well. There is Brendan Gaughan, who is 7th overall in the points. Has got a 4th place finish here in the Sprint Cup car back in 2004.
Trying to figure out how he's going to hook up with his teammate Stephen Wallace, but it's kind of hard at this point in the race.
Yeah, and sometimes you won't worry about that. I always told my teammates, hey, if we can do this, that'd be great, but don't make an extra effort or don't put yourself in a bad position. As we see him 4 wide again coming out of the tri-oval, but don't put yourself in a bad position to try to make something like that happen.
That move by Brendan Gaughan, he got shuffled out of the draft. Now he will lose 4 or 5 spots. Actually, it was his teammate Stephen Wallace that went up around him to try to stay with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
This
pretty,
is just
pretty smart move. Pretty smart move to stay with Junior.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't blame him there.
Just like a year ago, Dave, we saw the 18 car moving steadily toward the back.
And steadily out of harm's way. I'm not sure what, I don't remember what Kyle said in our pre-race show, but he is staying back there right now on purpose. His spotter telling him if it's going to happen, it's going to happen up there, pointing where there are things on the track that are about to happen. Kyle trying to stay out of the wreck right now, saving his car for the end.
Kyle Busch is our points leader, had a 47-point margin over Carl Edwards coming in. And folks, a year ago, he stuck his hand out the window and waved and waved and went all the way to the back of the pack to try to avoid the big one. And guess what? He got caught up in the big one. Brad.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Doc. I talked to Kyle before the race about that incident last year. He said he would take his race car and keep it up front if it was capable. He said it's very hard to do, but if it will not stay up front, he's going to do exactly what he's doing right now. So he's figured out he doesn't have the car to lead the pack. He's going to ride around and wait on the attrition to happen.
Some of the best in the business have done that over the years and gone to victory lane, including our own Dale Jarrett, his last victory here back in 2005. The draft right now, it is Carl Edwards and then the rookie legacy, the Toyota of Vickers, as we got 27 cars still in the league draft. In the early laps of the Aaron's 312 at Talladega, Carl Edwards is our leader. And folks, in just 14 laps, we have had 5 lead changes among 4 different drivers. And we're about to have another one as the 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the high line and will go up to the top of the racetrack to try to get by Carl Edwards. Earnhardt Jr. trying to get some drafting help from the 16 car of Matt Kenseth. Although Kenseth may be having some issues. Let's show you what we were able to see just a moment ago in his car.
Got us down to 240 and he holds back here, but you got to get a lot of tape off. I can't even draft. If I push the car for 200 feet, it's 280.
A lot of fluid coming out of that 16 car for Kenseth. Let's go down to our ESPN Craftsman Tech Garage for their explanation and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Doc. What the situation is, the teams get greedy because a piece of tape on the grill, that's the best speed they can get all week long. What the teams are doing, they're actually pressurizing the system with nitrogen. That makes the boiling point come up on the water. But once it gets so hot, it actually pushes the fluid out right over this area right here where the driver can see that the thing's running hot. But the only thing they're going to do to correct the problem, as soon as they get a pit stop, they got to have to come over here and take some tape off the grill, and that's going to increase the airflow. It's going to bring the water temperature down. Doc?
Thanks, Tim. They're going to have to be able to get on the pit road and get that done. In the meantime, Mr. Kenseth has a handful. He's up top in the upper line. Carl Edwards trying to hold on, but how about the rookie Justin Allgaier from 28th position now all the way up to the lead?
Here he comes. He's got help from Michael Waltrip. bump drafting down the backstretch. Look how much drafting help he's getting.
All over him. There's nobody better to have on your bumper. Michael Waltrip will do a great job. He won't get on you in the corner, but he's going to give you all the help you need to get to the front. These rookies are having a great day here so far.
Allgaier won an ARCA race at this racetrack a year ago with a daring last lap pass of Joey Logano. He has come from the back of the pack, and now he gets passed by Michael Waltrip, Carl Edwards, and Brian Vickers.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Then Michael will pass you, too, after he helped you get up there. So,
yeah, and here comes Carl. Right back at you, Michael.
Michael Waltrip and Carl Edwards had a little contact last week. It didn't go real well for either one of them, but let's check in on Michael Waltrip. Dave.
Michael's had a lot of contact here this weekend, but it's been of the good kind. The front and the rear of that car damaged from practice with bump drafting as he gets passed on the inside now. Crew Chief Jerry Baxter telling me we had to replace crush panels, body parts, and everything to get this car back into shape. But we like making those kinds of repairs, Shannon.
Yeah, spotter and crew chief Chad Walter are patiently talking Justin Allgaier through the laps of this racetrack. As you said, Doc, he won an ARCA race here last year. He told me the one thing he learned from that race is patience. He said anything can happen at this racetrack. I have to be patient. I have to wait till the end of the race, and I cannot let myself get down if I get shuffled to the back of the track.
Lots of patience. In fact, 2 of our top 5 drivers right now are rookies. That is Allgaier in the 12 car back in 4th spot. Behind him, Michael Annett, the former professional hockey player, showing really well early on back in 5th spot.
Yeah, we see these guys making a lot of moves and things that maybe they couldn't have done here on the old racetrack. But with this pavement and as much grip as it has, these guys, if something happens, it's really a mistake now on someone's part. So they just have to be patient, and it's nice that these young guys are figuring that out early on.
DJ, you talk about how smooth this racetrack is. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the easiest, how does this track rate in terms of difficulty to drive?
Well, as far as driving it, if you're out there on a qualifying lap, we could take a lot of people that are watching this race today, and if you don't mind going 180 miles an hour, you could hold it wide open and drive. It's that easy. The car almost drives itself. But you put them in the middle of that pack, and there's only a few people that can do it, as we see here today. It becomes much more difficult. But as far as the racetrack itself, it's great. They did a tremendous job of getting it smooth. I can't believe they could take something this big and make it this smooth.
One thing we're seeing right here is that the bottom of the racetrack is the place to be right now. We've seen a lot of runs and some momentum from the outside, but it just kind of runs out when they get to the front. I saw Junior just now move to the bottom, and now he's going to try to work down there a little.
Well, the top is a much longer way around, and you have to have a really fast car and somebody really staying on you. We see problems here with Kenny Hendrick in the 42 car. Looks like he might have a flat tire, I would just possibly guess.
Got something wrong, but he started in the back after qualifying 15th.
Yeah, he came all the way up to 9th position. That's the Evander Holyfield-owned car. He will have to go to pit road for an unscheduled stop.
See Junior jump back up on the outside now. Trying to work with Jason Leffler. That's the thing. You just got to find the car, the right car that works well with your car, and I'm sure Junior's just checking it out right now.
Yeah, and in Junior's part, whenever Matt Kenseth could stay right with him in the 16 car a while ago, he could push him all the way to the front, even though you're going that more distance around. Junior's able to stay right with the 38 here. You can see they can make a lot of good time. Justin Allgaier thought he was going to get up there and possibly get some of that drafting help, but he got himself in the middle and is going to get shuffled back probably 10 or 12 spots.
Got to believe Allgaier probably heard from his spotter to try to get in that upper lane. And DJ, how much do you trust the spotter, the guys that are way above you here, 7 stories up on the roof?
Yeah, this is a day that you have to have someone that you really can trust, but you have to also understand that they're a long way away and things are happening in a hurry where you're sitting.
You see the leaders catching a lap car right here, and you know, you got to make plans. These leaders do. You see the lap car now moving to the inside. But a lot of these guys are going to work off of this lap car, and hopefully they can not get themselves in a bad spot.
And the problem is you catch him, they're already 2 and 3 wide back through there, and you catch him in the corner, and it makes things a little bit more difficult.
It's Donnie Neuenberger, the 52 car, the Jimmy Means owned car that's being now put a lap down by the lead draft coming by.
What that can do when you catch a lap car changes the dynamics of the lines and how they're moving.
Yeah, and you could see the guys, a lot of give and take there early on in the race, and that's what you have to try to make this thing last out and not create a big wreck right now.
22 laps in, and we only have 32 cars left in the lead draft. This is typical Talladega NASCAR style. NASCAR Nationwide Series racing, 7 lead changes, 5 different drivers, and cousin Carl showing the way.
Time is the season
This Sunday and every Sunday through the rest of the season, every episode of Desperate Housewives is all new. This Sunday, one housewife gets naked. A husband could be cheating. Another housewife gets arrested. And someone makes a deadly confession. ABC's Desperate Housewives, all new Sunday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on ABC.
Is that naked or naked?
Well, in Alabama, it might be naked, but that's okay. New leader here at Talladega. Thrilling racing so far, and you're on board the pole sitter who's back out in front, Ryan Newman.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan Newman is charged back to the front. A lot of dicing going up there in those first 5 or 6 positions. Exciting racing thus far, and anytime you got Earnhardt Jr. up there hunting for that lead, it's going to be exciting.
Now, we're through 26 laps, and we've had 8 lead changes among 6 different drivers. Carl Edwards has led the most so far. We are caution-free. And as they continue jockeying for the lead, it leads us to discuss and preview green flag pit stops that may begin to happen around lap 40 or so, just 13 laps from now. DJ, Andy, you're a driver. You're out there in this intense action. You're a crew chief. You're watching this intense action. What are you beginning to do? What are you beginning to think about? What are you beginning to say to your driver as you look ahead to these pit stops?
Well, as a driver, you're going to get yourself positioned. Once the crew chief starts talking about that we're getting close to that, you have to get yourself positioned. You can't be in the outside line coming off of turn 2 and down the backstretch and think that you're going to pit that lap. So you start positioning yourself for that. And then letting everybody behind you, you have to really wave as much as you can. Let these guys know, because we do see a lot of accidents here, Andy, as you come on the pit road.
Yeah, we do. And that's for a crew chief, you're out there trying to communicate with who you want to pit with, whether it's a teammate or who maybe you have made a deal with earlier. You try to communicate with them and say, okay, we're going to pit on lap 43. And you got to make sure you get that lap right, because if you don't, you can be a miscommunication. You can get hung out by yourself after you make a pit stop, and that's never good. You have to have drafting help here.
Up front, the 33 car, Ryan Newman. Nice run by Mike Wallace, the 0 car there. Johnny Davis owned car all the way on the high part of the racetrack, and Mike is a very good drafter on these super speedways.
Oh, he's excellent. I talked to him down in the garage this morning. He said, okay, I'm out here at Talladega. You got to talk about me. I said, all you got to do is run in the top 10. Well, he's done that so far. He's been up in the top 10 some. He's 15th right now.
And no one does more than Johnny Davis with less. I mean, Johnny Davis, the car owner of 2 cars, comes every single week, and his equipment's just getting better and better and more competitive.
Yeah, well, we got a little jockeying right there. Stephen Wallace actually gets a little bit loose.
Mike Wallace is a driver that really understands the draft and shows that you can take a car that maybe was off a little bit in qualifying time, but you can get it in here in the draft. If you understand it, you can get yourself up in the middle of the mix.
It's a tremendous equalizer, the draft is, and when you come to Talladega, it's like any car can be at the front.
Yeah, somebody looks awful strong today is Carl Edwards. He's been able to drive himself back to the front a couple of different times. Brian Vickers has done a good job hanging with him and helping him get to that point.
Yeah, it's one thing to be able to drive to the front, get to the front, but to stay up there, you have to have a really strong race car. Looks like Carl does have a strong car today.
Brian Vickers, the former winner here in NASCAR Sprint Cup, having a good run here in the Nationwide car. Dave.
Talked to his crew chief, Trent Owens, this morning about Brian in that car, as we see now Junior getting a good push down the backstretch and looking to the inside, possibly to take the lead from Newman. As for the 32 of Vickers, good as anybody at restrictor plate racing, according to his crew chief, as he now tries to push Carl Edwards to the lead.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. retakes the lead on the bottom of the racetrack. Couple of Chevys down low. It is a Ford and Toyota as the lead 2 cars in the outside draft. Junior Nation on their feet here in Talladega, Alabama. Glad to have you with us here, the world's fastest stock car facility. And Carl Edwards now will get a little drafting shove and go by Dale Jr. and retake the lead.
The thing I'm seeing right here, you see Brian Vickers and Carl Edwards have figured something out on how to stay together and work together. I also see that 33 car Ryan Newman and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they figured something out too, and I think you'll see those cars stay together today.
Yeah, I think they were going to stay together more until Junior kind of shut Ryan Newman back there on the backstretch after he pushed him to the lead a while ago, but they will continue to try to work together, I'm sure.
You mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. How about his older brother, Kerry Earnhardt? Driving for Rick Ware Racing, the 31 car, top of your screen. Kerry now getting back into the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Earnhardt's really have a knack for restrictor plate racing.
What was it Shannon said? I'm just going with those great bloodlines when she started picking her drafters. She did a good job.
Looks like she was on to something.
Moving in on pit stops, and a lot of strategy now beginning to play out in the pits. You got to have help on the racetrack. You also got to have help when you come down pit road to maybe get some drafting help to get back up to speed. While they think about pit stops, we'll at Talladega, high speeds and high drama on the high banks. And folks, they are racing everywhere. 34 cars still now in the lead draft in one big pack, and they are 3 wide entering turn 1.
That's kind of what it looks like from the driver's seat sometimes. You think that there are like 80 cars out there at times.
And one car, Andy, who had dropped to the back of the pack to get a little room, has now made his way back toward the front.
What? Kyle Busch is all the way to the front. I thought he was running dead last a while ago. I think he's just trying to see what he can do right here.
Yeah, well, he kind of let things get strung out a little bit, and you know, I'm sure his amount of patience for that wasn't going to last very long. You see the two guys, first and second in the points there, helping each other right now.
It's unreal. He was 37.
I know. I looked back there a while ago just to see how far back he was laying back, and then all of a sudden he was up in the front.
Here's the 05 Jeff Green, former series champion. Looks like he's limping around now trying to get his car back to pit road. We are still waiting for leaders' first pit stops. That's Stephen Wallace now. We'll try to go to the lead.
Michael McDowell in the 47 trying to tell. He went to the middle.
Three lead changes from the start-finish line to turn 1.
That is what Talladega is all about. Dale Jr. now in the 5 car trying to push McDowell, the rookie. Stephen Wallace on the bottom of the racetrack in his Chevy, getting a little shove from behind by a Toyota.
Here comes Junior.
Did we tell you before the race that everybody had a chance to win this race? And now you see what we're talking about.
Now Michael McDowell dropping way back on the outside.
Yeah,
he must have got the call. He's going to probably have to make a pit stop, but he's trying to figure out how to get to the bottom.
And you get shuffled out up there and nobody there. It looks like that you just put the brakes on or shut the engine off.
66 car Dave is very, very quick.
And you know, Dale Ferguson, his crew chief, optimistically told me we may have qualified 35th, but I promise you, it'll race well. And sure enough, Stephen's taking it to the front with some help. Now Junior gets the lead back.
I talked to Stephen this morning in the garage, and I said, why'd you qualify so far back? He said, we just got one of those bodies that just doesn't, it's not real slick. It's got a lot of drag, but we are going to race well. Boy, he sure is.
Early pit stop, Joe Nemechek, the 2-time winner, in on for his first stop of the day.
Joe's got a new sponsor on the car, Maui Showers.
You can see just right side tires on that car for the stop. They were actually having to wait on to make sure they got it full of fuel.
It takes longer to put a full tank of fuel in than it does to change 2 tires.
Couple of teammates here, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and right behind him, you're riding along with Brad Keselowski in the JR Motorsports Chevys, first and second.
You can see they're coming up on Joe Nemechek. Something that changed here with this race is they have to stay below that double yellow line going out of the pits before they can come up on the racetrack.
DJ now at 195-mile-an-hour draft. How difficult is it to get this car woed down and get on the pit road without having an issue?
Yeah, you really have to be careful here. You can do a number of different things if you're not careful. You can slide the tires, and especially now, Andy, if you're not putting on 4 tires, which is probably the case, you have to be careful not to flat spot those tires.
And you really talk to your driver making that pit stop when you're not going to change all 4. You've got to be careful not to flat spot those tires.
Expecting some of the leaders to come on pit road, and here they come as Earnhardt Jr. will flash by on the racetrack. Some of the other guys, here's Reagan, Carl Edwards, Allgaier, and Logano in the pits. Let's go down to Jamie.
And Carl Edwards running a little hot, about 250 degrees. They're going to pull some tape and 4 tires for Carl Edwards, who's having a solid run so far.
Like I said, it takes a little longer to put fuel in than it does to take 2 tires, so it is an opportunity for the guys to put 4 tires on.
You've got the 6 of David Reagan in. They're taking the tape off the front end. Like many of the cars up and down pit lane, they've had heating issues throughout the course of the day. Reagan says the car's been jumping around a lot. They need some clean air and some cooler air to fix it.
Reagan exits. They also got the tape off the front of the 16 car of Kenseth. And here come the other leaders. Michael Waltrip, the first of that group. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and others headed down for their first scheduled stop.
Everybody jockeying for position, trying to get to their pit stall.
Boy, 55 miles an hour seems very slow now on pit road. Let's go down to the Kyle Busch pits. Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the 18 car of Kyle Busch is in right now. They will take just looks like 2 right side tires. No, they're going to take 4. Steve Wallace is in. He's going to take 2 right sides. Michael Waltrip is in as well. They will take 4. Lots of action on pit road with all of these leaders. Kyle is gone.
.33 car of Newman out and away, and the 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Michael Waltrip's car won't fire. Ran it too low on fuel and it just wouldn't pick up when they jacked it up.
Finally, they get the 99 car back, and there's a 75 going by Bobby Gerhardt. A miscue in the pits for the 5 car. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came down for his first stop and had issues.
Yeah, he's going to come in here and he's going to miss his pit.
You see these guys trying to find their pit stalls, and they all peel off. And now Junior just totally missed his.
That's always the difficult thing here. The first time that you pit, and when it's under green, you're not exactly sure. It's a very difficult pit road to get markings on to give yourself a judge as to where your pit is.
One thing, this is really going to cost Dale Jr., though. He's going to be running by himself, and if you don't have a drafting partner, it can slow you down a ton. Dave.
And he mentioned once while he was out there that it had coughed on fuel, but it is under power right now, so they will just fill it full of Sunoco fuel. They'll put 4 tires on. The field going by now, so he will go at least 1 lap down at this point before he can get this car refired and join everybody. This is another time this year Junior's missed his pit. It's a continuing problem.
99 of Michael Waltrip, too fast, entering pit road. Had to come back down, and there's the 99 on the pass-through.
Well, we saw them having to push the car to get it started. It could have been out of fuel when he made that green flag stop and not be able to look at his tachometer to get a reading on his speed coming down pit road.
As Dave mentioned, Junior is a lap down now. He doesn't have drafting help out here, and here comes
How about
Shepard.
67-year-old Morgan Shepard being shown as a leader here at Talladega. He led this race last year and had a great top 15 finish.
Now he's coming down pit road by himself. This is not a good move, though. He'll not have any drafting help when he comes back on the track.
Morgan had a race car built for him by Kevin Harvick. He had engines purchased by Tony Stewart, who also helps him with tires. A lot of the guys appreciating what Morgan did over the years, laying the groundwork here for this series years ago.
See how these pit stops have spread the field a little bit, but you'll see them come back together.
The 62 car, Brendan Gaughan, was being shown as our leader, but NASCAR has posted him now for too fast entering pit road.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that's hard to do. You haven't done it. You're trying to get slowed down. That line comes up on you in a hurry. You're trying to get there as quickly as you can, but you have to be really careful.
David Reagan leading this draft, and in the Roush Fenway car right behind him, the 16. Remember the issues that they had with Matt Kenseth. They were finally able to come in and get some of that tape off the grill on his Ford.
Yeah, they're able to do that. And, you know, we heard them say that they took tape off of Carl Edwards' car, too. That could have been why his car was partly so strong, although we see these Fords up here running 1, 2, 3 right now. But that could really help you if you've got too much of that, and taking some of that away may hurt when he tries to go back to the front.
It really helps to have the tape on the grill, especially up front. When you're trying to lead the race, it really helps you stay up front having that tape on the grill. Here comes Reagan peeling off, coming down pit road.
Too fast entering, so that's the pass-through penalty for David Reagan. So a number of drivers, we talked about how difficult it was to get woed down coming off of the track at 195 miles an hour, and a lot of these guys got caught for speeding. Reagan and Gaughan serving their penalty.
Okay, now pit stops have cycled through. All these leaders have pitted. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not a lap down yet, but he's a long way back from the leaders, and he only has 1 car to draft with, and so it's really costing him time.
Matt Kenseth being shown as our leader last time by, so he becomes the 10th different driver to lead today. There have been 18 lead changes in the first 45 laps.
Mike Bliss having a problem on pit road. This doesn't look good, pushing him backwards.
He had made a nice run from the back up to the front of the pack. This looks like it's going to end his day.
Mike, one of the drivers running full-time in the series, trying to go for the championship. Speaking of going for the championship, let's listen in to Carl Edwards radio.
Is 250 okay? We're right under 250. being lost. 250 is okay. Make sure it's not blowing water.
Yeah, there's no problem with 250 degrees. I know it sounds hot, but as long as that thing is not boiling the water out, you're good. There's no problem at all to run that hot.
Yeah, I was thinking about how far we've come. And if we used to see 250 years ago, then that was almost the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, you might as well park it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they've got these pressurized systems that allow that boiling point to come up much, much higher, and that's the key thing. If you can just keep the water from boiling and blowing out of there, it'll keep running.
Couple of Joe Gibbs teammates almost getting together there, Logano and Kyle Busch, and now Kyle goes to the outside, and we'll get a little drafting help from the current champ in the series, Clint Bowyer. 13 laps away from halfway at Talladega, and it is Matt Kenseth who won the Daytona 500 back in February, leading here. You're watching ESPN on ABC.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Get your head in the game right on your phone with sports clips, scores, stats, news, and more. Only on VCast from America's most entertaining network, Verizon Wireless. And Toyo Tires. Toyo Tires are driven to perform.
As we complete 50 of the 117 laps here at Talladega, we come back with a new leader, Kyle Busch and Clint Bowyer. Busch in the black and red car, Bowyer in the green and white Holiday Inn car, have traded the lead during the break. Here comes Brian Vicker in the yellow 32. We have had 21 lead changes so far, and we're not even at halfway.
Let's commend these guys on the tremendous racing that they're putting on for the fans and how clean this race has been. It's incredible how close they're running. There's no elbow room whatsoever. These guys are in complete control of these race cars. That's why they're some of the best in the world.
Now, a number of guys who were contending for the lead before that first set of pit stops are now farther back in the field. That 99 car, Michael Waltrip, was one of the front runners in this race. Had to come back to pit road for a speeding penalty. He's now one lap down in that group, but he's in 33rd place. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the last car on the lead lap, he's in 32nd spot, and he's 44 seconds behind the leaders. Yeah, that's Junior not all that far in front, right in this little group coming through the bottom of the screen. And then here are the leaders coming up to put him a lap down if we don't see a caution flag. And as we swing it back upstairs from the pit studio to the booth, DJ, Andy, all of these guys had problems with the same thing, speeding on pit road on the first pit stop. What gives?
They're just trying too hard.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I mean, to go from 185 or 90 miles an hour, getting down to pit road speed when he comes up, it's just something that's hard to do, and guys just trying to get a little bit too much. You don't want to lose that draft, and you know that you have to get there as quickly as you can. And Michael Waltrip's got out in front now. He's actually back on the tail end of the lead lap right there.
The records are falling here at Talladega. We have already gone 52 laps without a caution flag. We have been caution-free thus far, and we are on pace to set a record for lead changes. The all-time record set here 2 years ago was 36 lead changes, and we've just had our 23rd lead change, and we're not even halfway yet.
Yeah, and these are just counted at the start-finish line that we're talking about. It's not all the ones that are going taking place throughout each lap.
Green flag racing, longest green flag stretch in nationwide history at Talladega, as we remain caution-free. And I hate to even mention that, but we have not had a yellow flag.
I heard Kyle Busch say that he would go to the back if his car was not able to stay up front. He made that run up to the front, and now it looks like he's able to stay there. I don't think you'll see him going to the back unless he gets shuffled out.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. And plus, you've got a very small pack of cars there in comparison.
Oh, got trouble.
20 just pushed him.
That is Clint Bowyer in the 29 car and the 99 of Michael Waltrip. Two of the cars running in the top 10.
20 just crashed him. I mean, he just bump draft him into off too, I think.
20 just spun the 99 right across their nose.
So first yellow flag of the day, Clint Bowyer, who has some damage. You see he gets his car rotted and pulled away the roof flap now up on his Chevy. And there's the damage on the front of the 99 car as Michael tries to get his car fired. But this a disappointment for Michael, but a big break for some other drivers.
Yeah, especially Dale Earnhardt Jr. He just in front of these leaders and trying hard to stay on the lead lap. He's got a fast car. But this is a tough break for Michael. He was trying really hard to get that lucky dog in case the caution comes out. And right here, he gets a big big push off that 20 at the wrong place.
That's exactly what we've been talking about. You talk about this bump drafting, you hear about it, and that's just not the place to do it. You're almost to the straightaway, but the driver in front there still has the steering wheel turned a little bit, and it just pushed him right around right in front of Clint Boyer in the 29.
Yeah, Michael was running in 4th position, and let's watch the tap.
Oh, that's the patience that we're talking about. You just have to show it all the time. And pushed him.
It's nothing intentional on Joey Logano's part, but it was definitely a mistake.
Yes.
Right across the nose of the 29, and Clint Boyer had nowhere to go. Then Michael, fortunately, had safer barriers on the inside, although he hit a ton. Let's listen to Clint Boyer's radio.
Imagine that. Still got his hand out the window. What? What happened? What happened? Every damn time, same guy. How'd I wreck? What happened?
I think when Clint watches this back, he'll have a little different picture of what happened. It's really hard to tell when you're in the car exactly what causes some of these accidents.
These drivers sometimes find themselves in the same position with the same drivers, and it's easy to say. But I think Clint will see that Michael had a lot of help there in creating that situation.
Michael trying to get back into victory lane in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and we are under caution for the first time. And here come the leaders down pit road. Carl Edwards headed down to his pit. Jamie.
Carl Edwards said to pull some more tape. Still running a bit hot. 4 tires. He wants a drink. You see it putting through his window there. He said there's a hose floating around on that passenger side. Now let's go to the Toyo tires. Triple pitch. Shannon Spake.
Jamie, Joey Logano radioed in, said, I'm sorry. 2 tires for the 20. Dave.
Kyle Busch, fuel only. Do not slide him coming in. He didn't, and he peels off pit road. Vince?
Well, the key for the 16 and Matt Kenseth is the tape off the front end. They're going to change tires too, but the key is the front end of the tape. The half-inch of tape off the grill won't allow Matt to suck up to the car in front of him, so they're taking all the tape off the front that they can get. He says that's their only chance.
Race off of pit road. Michael Annett, the rookie, gaining 8th position. Some tire strategy to try to get some of these guys back up in the top 10. 2 tires, no tires, and now no chance for Michael Waltrip with a damaged Toyota. Next week, the NASCAR Nationwide Series moves to the action track Richmond International Raceway as stop number 9 under the lights at Richmond. There have been 5 different winners in the last 5 Richmond spring races, and of course Denny Hamlin led the final 12 laps a year ago to get his first win there in front of the home state fans. Our coverage of the Lipton T250 at Richmond, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2. We currently now have 32 cars back on the lead lap, including the 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. being shown in 17th spot. Let's talk with him.
Junior Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, got a question. When you switch back and forth from these Nationwide cars, Sprint Cup cars, you have different numbers. Is that one thing that can create a problem like missing your pits?
Well, I reckon if you want to use that excuse, it's a good one. I can see pretty good. I got 2015, and I just ain't under the pace lap. You normally talk to your crew and you look at where your pit is where you're going by and all that stuff. And we didn't do any of that, so I didn't even really think about it, just to get my mind a little bit, but I didn't even know where my pit stop was when I got onto pit road. And there was a couple cars in front of me, so I never saw it.
Okay, well, that's all gone. Now you got a break. You're back on the lead lap. I saw you took no tires. Your car must be handling pretty good. Can you get to the front?
Yeah, we put 4 tires on when we made the green flag stop, so we only got about 5 laps on them there, running by ourselves, so we ain't pushed them hard at all. The car's great, and we was having some fun up there earlier. We'll see if we can get back up there and do it again.
All right, man, go have fun. Good luck.
We are working caution for the first time today. A hard impact by the 99 car Michael Waltrip. Let's visit with him. Jamie?
Yes, and Michael has been released. He's okay. Got together with the 29 at Clint Boyer. What happened, Michael?
Somebody hit me. I don't know. Was it the 29? I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. I just want to say what a great job by Jerry Baxter and the boys on the Aaron's Camry. Last week at Phoenix, we had a fast car, and again today, and have nothing to show for it. But they keep giving me cars like that. It's going to be a good year for us. I'm watching on your screen back there. Whoever's in that one car hit me in the butt and spun me out. So it's a black car. You look a lot better in your uniform than I do in mine.
Thank you. I'm not as worked up as you. Hey, I have to ask you, though. Clint Boyer came over the radio and said it's the same guy every time referring to you. What's your defense?
Well, you know, if he would watch the video, he would see that there was a man that drove over the top of me and spun me out. So, you know, Clint made a butt of himself at Bristol with stupid remarks. And if he wants to continue to be an idiot, then we can play that game. I don't mind. I just prefer to be nice to people.
All right, tough day for Michael Waltrip. Next weekend, Scott Speed will be in the 99 car at Richmond. Doc?
Frustration and just blunt honesty.
Yeah, and it is 2 weeks in a row that Michael's got hit from behind. That he had good race cars and you have nothing to show for it. Can be very, very frustrating.
And I will bet you when Clint Boyer goes back and looks at the video, he'll realize that maybe he might have jumped a gun on his assessment there a little bit. Getting set for the green flag here. Kyle Busch will lead him down. A couple, actually 3 Toyotas. It is Busch, Vickers, and then Busch's Joe Gibbs teammate Joey Logano. Then Stephen Wallace in his Chevy, and Allgaier, the rookie, in the Dodge. If you just joined our coverage, we've only had the one caution flag thus far today, just coming out a moment ago, but we have had 25 lead changes among 12 different drivers. Kyle Busch in the 18 car, left side of your screen, dropped to the back of the pack on lap 9 and came all the way back up to lead on lap 28. He said, I'm going to see if I can get this done, and indeed he did get it done.
He proved that he has a strong car, and now it's really strong up front. But here comes Carl Edwards trying to move his way back to the front. Had that overheating issue on that first run where they had to take a little bit of tape off. Doesn't look like it hurt his car any, though.
Yeah, these guys were kind of enjoying that situation after the pit stops there where they got strung out a little bit. You like that as a driver for things to calm down for just a little bit, but they know now it's going to get back to 2, 3, and sometimes 4 wide racing.
Justin Allgaier trying to get that high line going, but not going very much. They're going by him on the bottom of the racetrack on the inside.
It's getting ready to get going. You see Ryan Newman now moving up on these guys. Some momentum being built on that outside groove.
Heard him saying they were taking more tape off of Carl Edwards' car there, so it'd be interesting to see how much that affects his race car as far as being able to get to the front.
And then if he does get to the front, can he stay up front like he did earlier?
The one car of Mike Bliss, who came in 9th in the point standings, is officially retired now in the garage area. David Rudeman in the 10 car, trying to get that upper line going. Rudeman driving for Braun Motorsports. More on the rookie Allgaier. Shannon.
Doc, we talk about handling at this racetrack, how it's always good. Drivers can just hold it wide open. Well, Justin Allgaier, they've been working on the handling of that race car. The past 2 pit stops, they have made wedge adjustments. So Justin Allgaier, just right now, biding his time. He has been running very high in this race. That ARCA win probably paying off a little bit here today.
And we always talk about that handling really isn't an issue here, but you can get your car loose into the corner, and I don't know if that's what Justin is having a problem with his car or not, but as you try to get your car and make sure that it's free enough to run through the center of the corner and everything, you can sometimes get the car loose in, so you can make some adjustments to that. But other than that, Andy, there's really not a whole lot of issues normally.
Yeah, sometimes you can actually make chassis adjustments just to see if it'll help your car maneuver some of the different lines and the way you want to draft around the racetrack, whether you're using the high lane or using the bottom of the racetrack.
And it might have felt good in practice and everything was going to be okay, but you weren't in a situation like what you get yourself in the race, so you have to make a slight adjustment then.
This front pack has 21 cars, and you can go from running 5th, which Allgaier was a moment ago, back to about 19th and about a quarter of a lap.
And we have cars that are a lap down, or in David Rudeman's case that we saw up there, he's 2 laps down, but all of these guys are up in the middle here trying to stay in that position. You see Michael Annett in the 15 is doing a great job today. Jamie?
He really is. His first time here, only 22 years old. Now, yesterday, actually, was Thursday in practice. Michael went out there to try to learn how to draft. Nobody would draft with him. He was all by himself. He came in just frustrated, went out there in second practice, said, what the heck, I'm going to run by myself, turn the fastest lap. Now, listen, DJ, what is it like to be a rookie and to try to gain respect? What does he need to do?
Well, he's just going to have a good, solid race today, not do anything crazy in these the first half of this race, and other guys will see that he's got a fast race car. He's shown that, and he knows what he's doing out there. He'll gain that respect, and as this race winds down, then he'll find some guys that are willing to get on the bumper and help him.
Michael Annett has won here in the ARCA competition. He won in 2007, both here and at Daytona, so he's very good on these super speedways.
And just like Dale said, the best way to get somebody to draft with you is have a fast race car. Everybody out there wants to draft with a fast car.
DJ, what makes one driver a better drafter than another?
That's really hard to say. You know, we talked about how great Dale Earnhardt was in the draft, but he just has a feel and a sense of where to put his car and get the most from the air and have that feel. Dale Jr. has that too, and there's a number of other guys. Obviously, Kyle Busch's out front. He knows what to do, but you just have that feel, and it just gives you, you don't have to look at your tack, you don't have to do anything, you just get that sense and that feel that you're getting a pull and a push at the right time.
Now here you got two teammates trying to get together with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Brad Keselowski.
They call Dale Earnhardt Jr. the Pied Piper of plate tracks because almost anywhere he goes, everyone else wants to go because of his talents as a drafter on the super speedways. We are past the halfway point. It is Kyle Busch, the leaders, Vickers, Logano, Stephen Wallace, and Lagasse. Back after this message and a word from our ABC station.
50 laps to go at Talladega as the NASCAR Nationwide Series makes its once-a-year stop at the world's fastest speedway. Kyle Busch is the race leader, one of 25 different lead changes today. When Busch took the lead, 12 different drivers out in front as we check our Holiday Inn Express race summary from the pit studio. Alan Best with Brad Daugherty here. A lot of guys out front today, Brad. A lot of exciting action.
Well, I'm really impressed. I'm going to reemphasize how well all of these guys have done a great job of driving these race cars, maintaining great control while running 3 and 4 abreast. It's been outstanding racing thus far.
Just the one caution in the race so far. Now, normally when we do an up to speed, we like to kind of work our way back through the field. That's impossible in Talladega. The positions change hands too quickly. So we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance and just get an update on some of the cars in the field. Dave, what do you got?
Alan, it's easy to see the 18 right now because he's still out front and not being challenged by Brian Vickers at this point. But that's his biggest concern right now. He's asking the spotters up there to work together to keep Brian Vickers from trying to make a pass right now. Kyle says, we don't need to do that yet. The 32 doesn't need to spread everybody out and get everybody passing us on the outside. So he wants Vickers in the 32 to stay behind him. Somewhere in there is a 66 of Steve Wallace, who stopped last time and just took on fuel in that race car. Again, this is a race car that didn't qualify well, but has run extremely well in draft, as promised by his crew chief. Remember, this car last year finished second at the hands of David Stremme. Jamie?
And Michael McDowell, what a day. He's experienced a little bit of everything. Started in the back, 41st, worked his way up toward the front, got a push from Dale Earnhardt Jr., and then he was hung out to dry on the outside. Now, that last pit stop, he only took right sides and 1 can of fuel, so he's staying right there, top 12 right now for the 47 car. Vince?
Well, the 6 car of David Reagan has been one of those cars that's not quite fast enough to be a winner on its own, but this team felt as though it could run in the top 10 all day and get that break or that late push at the end. But crew chief Mike Kelly told me at the beginning of the day, the one thing we can't afford is a mistake on our own, like speeding on pit lane, which is exactly what happened to the 6 earlier. But David Reagan has fought his way back up to the top 20.
In the middle of the storm there, the 29 car backs out of the way there. You had the 33 of Ryan Newman, the pole sitter, in the middle, 3 wide down the backstretch. And you see the damaged car of Boyer trying to hang on. He certainly, with all the damage, he cannot even stay in the draft.
These guys work extremely hard on these cars aerodynamically. Times in the wind tunnel, just trying to perfect them, and get any kind of damage, it makes it difficult.
Guys, we talk about the big one at Talladega, not if it's going to happen, but when it's going to happen. And in recent years, the big wreck has happened late in the race. It was lap 70 a year ago with 17 cars. Why are they happening later and later as we approach the checkered flag?
It's because the intensity gets up there.
That's right.
These guys get antsy. They're trying to get themselves in position to win, and only, it can only be one winner.
Yeah, and we heard Brad say, what a great job all these drivers are doing. They are. It's a lot of give and take, but that patience runs thin by the time you get to the end of this. We see Clint Boyer on pit road making some more repairs.
Probably has a tire rub there. They want to change the tires and try to pull it away so they don't blow a tire and add insult to injury here. See DJ Kennington in this lead draft, that 81 car. He is trying to be that guy the first car lap down if the caution comes out. He's done a great job running up here with these guys.
Yeah. He had a great run at Daytona to open the year.
He got his best finish at Daytona, and I predicted that he would probably get his career best finish here because he qualified 11th, but somehow he got a lap down, and now he's trying to get it back.
And Carl Edwards still up on that high side trying to work his way towards the front. I just have to believe that tape is hampering his progress here.
I have to agree with you now.
Not as fast.
He has not been able to move up like he was earlier.
Now he's getting a good push from Brad Keselowski, though. So that always helps.
Brad Keselowski's got a lot of tape on the front of his car. He can't afford to stick up there too long, tuck that close, because if he does, he'll blow all the water out of his car.
How much is a driver able to feel a half an inch or an inch of tape being put on or taken off the nose?
Well, it makes a huge difference. And you won't feel it if you're tucked up in the draft behind someone. That's not where it affects you. It's when you get in this situation where you're trying to go. And we see Carl Edwards letting these guys go to the inside.
Yeah, he's waving the guys by.
Out the window, yeah. He either has a slight problem. He could still be running some hot, although he was in clear air there.
Keselowski and Earnhardt Jr. hooking up now to be able to push by for position. And that is 12th and 13th.
See Carl up there. He could just be wanting to go hang out for a while, even though the racing wasn't that bad right where he was sitting.
Boy, this is a tight draft.
Yeah, that's what's called tight. Yeah, that's how you make the most. You don't have to hit them, really. If you're just right there tucked underneath it, the way the draft works, it just makes the two cars go faster.
Car's running real hot. 260, 260. 10-4 on the temps. Keep air on the nose when you can, please. Thank you. 220 down. 220, 260. Was 260, 260.
Not sure how much air he's getting on the nose tucked in behind the 88 car, but the temps are still okay.
You're not going to get any air in this situation right here. You're not getting hardly any air in the grill. Can't do that long. I mean, it does work to get speed, but you have to breathe it a little bit.
Yep, they just went to the lead. He just pushed Brad to the lead, and he's second now. So now he can get his air.
Get a breath. You see here the smoke coming out of the 62. This could be another car overheating. This is the hottest day that we've had so far this year, and I'm not sure a lot of these teams prepared for it.
Shannon, what's going on with Brendan Gaughan?
Well, it's a little bit more than overheating. He has blown an engine. You can see the guys pushing the car back. Brendan Gaughan has the window net down, and it looks like they're going back to the garage.
After a good run by Brendan Gaughan, and last week coming off a record-tying best 7th place finish at Phoenix, he will call it a day at Talladega. Still lots of racing to come, and they are mixing it up front. Brad Keselowski, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Newman, Kerry Earnhardt is 4th. Kyle Busch is 5th. Folks, we got 30 cars still on the lead lap here at Talladega and 42 laps to go. Back in a moment. ESPN is your destination for the NBA playoffs tonight as Kobe Bryant and the Lakers take on the Utah Jazz. The Lakers lead the Jazz 2-1 in games, but remember the Lakers have won just twice all time in playoff games in Utah. The first round of the NBA playoffs, Lakers Jazz on ESPN, also on ESPN360.com tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And we'd also like to take an opportunity to be able to, on behalf of our entire ESPN crew, take a moment to wish our mobile truck driver, Marty McCoy, a quick recovery. Marty had a little medical problem earlier in the week, and without you, Marty, getting our truck to every race week after week, we would not get on the air. So, Marty, hurry back and get well soon. Lots of pushing and shoving up there, and the laps now click down. 38 to go here at Talladega. It is Brad Keselowski. It is his boss behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Brian Vickers, Joey Logano, and Jason Keller doing a great job. Keller, one of the 3 former winners here in the field.
And there's another Earnhardt been making some noise. Kerry Earnhardt now in the top 10. Made his way up to the top 5 until he got shuffled a few laps ago. But he's having a strong race.
Yeah, you see Jason Keller there on the inside of Ryan Newman doing a really good job. He's got himself up there in a nice position.
Let's update Kerry Earnhardt. Jamie.
Well, Doc, I had a chance to talk to Kerry yesterday, and he was so frustrated when they came to Texas that they didn't qualify for the race. So this time they're trying something new. They're in the 31 car that Stanton Barrett usually runs. They have a different team around him, and he also wanted to make it very clear that he still works at DEI, very much a part of that team, but this Rick Ware deal is really working well for him. He said they hope to be here about 11 more races this season, and they're really looking forward to Talladega.
And Jamie, his son Jeffrey Earnhardt, the 19-year-old, will run a limited schedule this year, and we are being told may run full-time for Rebestos Rookie of the Year in 2010. Still side by side as you would expect here, lap after lap at Talladega. Keselowski leading Earnhardt Jr. And let's check in where Dave is caught up with Brendan Gaughan.
Yeah, Brendan stands by the 62 car. There wasn't a lot of damage on that grill, Brendan. What happened to that motor?
I can tell you why we outqualified Steven now. You know, Russ Wallace builds great Chevrolet Impalas. We got sponsors on everything. We got a great race team. ECR gives us great engines. We just either had a mistake in a radiator or leaned it out too much. And just couldn't get it to cool off. I mean, it stayed hot. That's why I ran right to the front, had to drop back, let it cool, and it just wouldn't cool down that second run.
All right, that's Brendan Gaughan out of the race. Mike Bliss is out of the race as well. His motor overheated. There was damage on his race car that caused that.
Thanks, Dave. 2 drivers both in the top 10 in the point standings, having to call it an evening here at Talladega.
Here you go. 5's clear in your mirror there. Doing awesome, man. Keep it up. Need different info than that, or are you good with that? Nope. Trying to help Dale out here, get him spare. I told him.
Brad Keselowski earlier in the day was having an overheating issue. Right now, Dale Jr. is having a little bit of the same problem, so they're telling Brad Keselowski, don't get too far ahead of the 5, just far enough to let the 5 get a little of that clean, cool air, but don't get so far away that you break the draft. So the 88 and the 5 really teaming up right now with Tony Eury Sr., of course, on the box for the 88.
And Vince, that is important here, as DJ drivers will tell you. Not only you don't want to get behind, but you don't want to get too far ahead as well.
Tell you one thing, they're riding a time bomb right here with all that tape on the grill. We saw Brendan Gaughan talking about his, and you know, it's so hard to keep that thing cool when you're trying to tuck up like this. And both of these cars have a lot of tape on the grill.
Yeah, and it's going to be more up to Dale Jr. as to how far Brad Keselowski gets away from him. And yeah, he's doing a great job of getting some air without making Junior get out of the draft there. And so they're working well together. Brad seems to have a really fast car. But like saying, these things are only going to last so long running that hot.
Keselowski's in a great position because he has that clean air and can keep his car cool, but it's really difficult. You see now Junior trying to get down below the 88 car just to get air. He's not really trying to pass him right here, just trying to get air in the grill.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has never won in his own race car. Now, Brad Keselowski won twice last year driving for Junior Motorsports. And we talked about the last time Ford won here was 2002, and it was Jason Keller who went to victory lane. Having a great run here in this one. Shannon.
Doc, Jason Keller started this race 21st. He has been running in the top 10 pretty much the entire race. And if you think he's been busy on the track, his spotter up in that spotter stand has been even busier, trying to make deals with other guys on the racetrack, when to make a move. As you said, he has won here before. He's currently on 2 tires. Jason Keller celebrating his 39th birthday on Thursday. Would love a great finish here today.
Getting it done here in this practice, being very patient, and you guys talked about how important it is as we get closer and closer not to lose the patience and get frustrated in the draft.
And when you're down in that bottom line, that's where you really have to show your patience, because you want to stay there and know that that's going to move forward. Eventually, you really have to work hard. You're in and out of the throttle a little bit, but more than that, we see these front 3, man, they were close going through the corner. But you have to really sometimes be on the gas wide open and doing some trail braking too, just using the brake to drag it down a little bit. So it's really hard work, and on top of that, you have to show a lot of patience. Jason Keller's doing all of that right now.
It looks like the guy you were talking about, Andy, Kerry Earnhardt, is now hooked up in that outside line with Kyle Busch And these two are going to try to make the outside line work to get back up there.
Coming back to the front right here, and you see Joe Nemechek just behind Kerry Earnhardt. Both of these guys having a great run. And that 18 car is strong. That's a good one to hook up with in this outside lane.
Yeah, we said to make that outside lane work, you had to have 2 fast cars at least. And Kyle Busch obviously has a fast race car, and Kerry Earnhardt does too. So that's a good combination to work that high line and move to the front.
Zero 1 car showing some smoke. That is Danny O'Quinn Jr., the former Rookie of the Year.
That looks like another car that's run hot now and blown the engine up. That's what, when you get the car hot, you got to caution now for that 0-1. Don't want to run these guys, the leaders, through a bunch of oil down there.
All caution now for just the second time today.
And Carl Edwards was at the back of this group.
Yeah, motor blew up, he said.
This caution should help him. Make a few adjustments here to make a run to the front.
Wheel or something, and the drive line vibrated pretty hard right now, and I slowed down. It's banging. Not banging, but thumping hard.
He's worried about maybe a loose wheel.
That's what it sounds like also. It wasn't an overheating problem. Sounds like they might have that fixed, but afraid that might not have gotten everything tight the last pit stop.
So this caution about braking more ways than one for Carl Edwards. Okay, crew chief, you talked about all the tape on the grill. The car's running well, but everybody now is starting to show a little bit more temperature.
On one of the tires or something.
Yeah, it's just like now what do? You got cars up front. You don't want to take too much tape off, but you want to cool it down. This is a real tough decision for these crew chiefs.
I think a lot of that has to depend on if it's Brad Keselowski who's running for a championship here, or if it's Dale Jr. who's racing to win. And if it happens to, bite them and they blow up, so be it.
Yeah, that definitely weighs into the decision. If you're racing for points or just cherry picking.
So you go 2 different ways if you're the 88 and the 5?
Yeah, if I'm the 5 car, I'll roll the dice here. Car's fast, leave the tape on it. Maybe it'll finish.
Stops flashing. That means we've got a problem in the wire or the gauge. If it keeps flashing, we have no oil pressure. It is not flashing. It's just solid. Okay, 10-4, that is in the gauge or the wire.
They're talking about the oil light. Now, there's a light that comes on when the oil pressure gets below a certain threshold. One thing that can happen when these cars do get real hot, the oil pressure drops quite a bit. And that light usually comes on around 30 pounds or so.
And they don't run a lot of oil pressure in these things anyway at these places. So
try to
as
run
it gets hot and so you really have to make sure that you keep the RPMs up as you're going around under caution.
That's the other thing. They gear down the oil pumps quite a bit just for that extra little power. And they don't pump a lot of oil through them, just the minimum amount to keep them lubricated.
We can make it the rest of the way on fuel, so this should be the final stop if we were to go green. Brian Campy waiting on Dale Earnhardt Jr., who missed his pit on the very first stop of the day. He had to go back around the racetrack and almost went a lap down. He's now driven it back up to second position.
I bet he doesn't miss it this time.
No. 2 tires here, 4 tires, any?
You know what? I just want to get back out front. I will do the minimum now. If it's going to take 5 or 6 seconds to fuel it, you can get 2 tires in that amount of time. So only problem is if you make a mistake or drop a lug nut, it could cost you a few spots. No more than 2 tires, though. Here come the leaders.
Coming down for what should be the money stop. Shannon.
Doc Dave Rogers tells his driver, do not slide your tires. It's going to be a 2-tire stop. He said, do not wait for the fuel. When the jack drops, you go. Sunoco fuel in that car. Dave.
The 5 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming down pit road. There is the sign. They gave him a new one. Look for this, Junior. Green 5 with a black background. 2 tires. He finds it this time. Sunoco fuel in the car for Junior. Vince.
The 88 of Brad Keselowski will take on 2 right side tires. They only need 5 gallons of fuel, but Pop said give him as much as you can give him for the ounce of the weight in the back end to help him the rest of the way.
Well, they held a 5 car up on the jack for quite a while to get fuel in it. Kyle Busch gaining 3 spots. Stephen Wallace up 6 positions. And at the expense of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who would lose 3. And we had a tire roll across pit road onto the grass. We'll update. There it is. Who is going to be penalized for that when we come back? Getting set for the green flag once again. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Just 27 laps remaining here in the Aaron's 312 NASCAR Nationwide Series race at Talladega. We are under caution for the second time today. And under this caution, our Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass winner is the 81 car of DJ Kennington. There's DJ in his Dodge. He was the highest qualifying Dodge today. Started 11th on the day. Now gets back on the lead lap. And that will give us 30 cars on the lead lap. Our question in our Verizon Ask the Analyst for Dale Jarrett comes from Casey in Nashville, Tennessee. At Talladega, is it better to stay up front or wait in the back? Which do you like, Dale?
Obviously, if I have a car that'll stay up front, that's where I want to be. But I always let my car dictate exactly what strategy I was going to play. If it wasn't good enough to be out front and wanted to be right in the middle of the pack where things usually happen, then I'd go hang out at the back. But my preference would be in a fast car and stay up front.
Yeah, you can have your questions answered by our analysts with our Verizon Wireless mailbag. You can text your question to 8610. 8610 from your Verizon Wireless phone. Standard texting rates apply. Or you can go online to ESPN.com to submit your question. Let's talk with our in-race reporter, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is now being shown in the 5th position.
Hey, Junior, Dale Jarrett, you got me?
Sir.
All right, man, it's showtime. Just between you and me and a few million viewers, can you give us an idea of when you might like to try to take the lead?
I'd lead them all if I could. I was sitting there running second right there behind Brad and had some good enough runs to pass him, but it was just a little early, but he was doing fine leading. The race is, obviously, you could tell that the race is really up for grabs up till the last straightaway. So I don't think it really matters where you are. I don't know where I'd put myself to be on the last lap. Hopefully the guy with the biggest run, because that guy usually wins the race.
All right, man, coming to the green. Good luck.
I'll take it easy.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., a 6-time winner here at Talladega. 5 of those wins came in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car. His only win in the Nationwide Series back in 2003. And back then, he was the last driver to sweep both races in the weekend. He won the Nationwide race and went on to win the NASCAR Sprint Cup race the next day. Could be a pretty good omen if he can pull it off here this weekend. Maybe get that mojo back for the fact that he's been trying to get back to victory lane for quite a while.
Yeah, we got some other guys here wanting to not let that happen for him, though,
don't man. You got Stephen Wallace up there. You got Joe Nemechek. These are hungry guys.
Yeah.
Michael Annette. All these guys in the top 10.
So Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Wallace, Earnhardt Jr., Keller will want to get to victory lane. Kenseth is there, who won at Daytona. Who's it going to be? It'll be 25 laps to go when they come down and take the green flag.
Yeah, we talked about patience. That's kind of out the window now. We're in that window that, hey, it's every man for himself here.
Getting up to full speed here with the restrictor plates, and you're down about 300 horsepower, but you're digging for all your work to try to hold your spot.
But they're going to have to clear some of these lap cars, and then it's going to start getting organized on which guys are going to try to choose the top and which are going to choose the bottom.
Yeah, and I think some of these guys up here are going to try to get to the lead in a hurry, because I think out front, Junior was talking about he wasn't sure where he wanted to be. I think out front's the place to be. Make them pass you.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said it's anybody's race, and indeed that is the case. They line up single file on the bottom of the racetrack, but typically coming off of 4, they will fan out, and here they go, 3 wide. Laps are winding down. The big one may be approaching now. It's up to the spotters to make sure you don't make a mistake. Let's listen in.
So clear by 1. What's the run here? 3 wide. 3 wide. Here.
66, 527, 16.
He's clear by half. Right on here. They're all down your mirror there.
Got the 15, one back of him.
All single file.
66, right?
Trying to get outside the 66. The 5 is outside the 66 and 2 rows back. Clear. 2 lengths back. Block that 5 into the 66.
Side by side. Pick up the top with the 5. Still 2 wide here. Plenty of help.
R2 there. Watch you outside there.
1 inside.
Get ready to get him.
These spotters are elbow to elbow on the roof above us, and their drivers are door to door on the racetrack.
There goes Kyle Busch to the lead on the outside.
Yeah, and I can tell you, sometimes sitting in there in this situation, you feel like you're hearing all of those guys talk sometimes.
I've been on that roof. I've been one of those spotters, and you can hear that chatter.
Kyle Busch takes the lead. Earnhardt Jr. thinks about looking out of the inside. Will stay back up in front of Jason Left.
Trouble off turn 2.
61 car California driver Brandon Witt.
Caution's out, caution's out.
And the right rear tire down.
And we'll get 4 tires on you.
Probably left rear damage, I believe.
Third caution flag of the day, and damage on the back of his Ford.
That lead draft had just started to get organized on who was going to be where.
Yeah, organized for the time being.
Yeah, they're going to have to start over here again from single file on this next restart. But you see here, they're already 3 wide or more, and Brandon Witt just goes around.
Yeah, you'd have to think that right rear tire went down, maybe to start that.
Yeah, the car just kind of snapped around. He was by himself, it looked like.
And right along with the 09, John West Townley.
In front of me, you see it? Clear. Good job, buddy.
Well, we're going to do it again. We're going to line them up for another restart here. This time it'll be about 20 to go at Talladega. And I remind you, we have not had the big one yet. But patience is
sunny day here at Talladega Superspeedway. Some thrilling action on the track, and now we come down to the final laps of the Aaron's 312 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, with Kyle Busch leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the moment. Now, what might we be looking forward to after these final 20 or so laps go by? Well, let's look back on the last 2 finishes.
It's getting ready. Business is getting ready to pick up. As we know, Tony Stewart led these last 2 races the last couple of years on the white flag lap. He only won one of them. Yeah. I just saw him get past right there. I tell you, ladies, go out there and get your husbands off those lawnmowers. It's getting ready to get serious. As you see Tony Stewart here, he's getting a little bump draft going down the back straightaway. He sucks up to the side of Kyle Busch there, comes off the corner, and he wins the race. It's getting ready to get busy.
Led it at the white flag the last 2 years, won one, lost one. Who'll lead it at the white flag this year, and who'll lead it at the checkered flag?
Go get them husbands off them lawnmowers. It's getting ready to get busy.
30 lead changes so far. We'll see if there's one on the last lap again at Talladega. While we are still under the caution, let's check on pit road to Dave Burns. Dave?
Jason Ratcliffe directs the 18 for Kyle Busch. Okay, lots of fast race cars around you. Which one does he use, and how does he do it to win?
Yeah, right now he just needs to use his mirror, and we got a good spotter with Jeff Dickerson. He's done a great job all day, as well as Kyle. I don't know. I mean, that was the last thing he just said before I took my headset off as well. Who's going to be our friends here? So I guess we'll see.
All right, he's got the preferred line right now. That low line, let's see if he can hold him back. Vince?
With Tony Uri Sr., the crew chief for the 88 of Brad Keselowski. Brad's complained toward the end of that last stint of a vibration. Have you been able to diagnose that?
No, we don't have an idea what it is. It's been there for a while. He complained about it on that one stop we made there, and we thought maybe it was a wheel or tire, but we took those off and it's still there. So really don't have an idea what it is, but don't seem to be affecting the car. The car's still running fast, so hopefully that Klondike car keep doing it.
Keep an eye on the 88. Shannon?
Down here with Chad Walter, crew chief for Justin Allgaier, is currently running 5th. Your driver said focus and patience, most important things at this racetrack. First start here, how's he doing inside that car?
He's doing outstanding in the Verizon Wireless Dodge. Got a lot of people out there in other makes that you know, we're kind of all by ourselves in our Charger, but I think if we pick the right group and be patient for another 10, 15, 20 laps, we can see what happens at the very end here. Looking forward to it.
Well, Justin Allgaier has definitely been impressive in his starts this season and looking for Dodge's very first win. Guys?
And making only his 12th ever start here in the car number 12 and under caution for the 3rd time. Andy, tell us about our Aaron's Lucky Dog.
Robert Richardson Jr. is our Aaron's Lucky Dog winner this time by. Gets back on the lead lap.
That gives us 30 cars on the lead lap, and now we will come down with 19 to go. Kyle Busch a two-time winner this year. Dale Earnhardt Jr. hasn't won a nationwide race since August of 2006. And they're already mixing it up down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, I was going to tell you to look at their single file right there, because that's going to be the last time you're going to see that for a little while. And running from the back here is not a bad thing either. You know, we talk about these top 5 guys, and Jason Leftward's up there doing a great job sitting in 3rd. But coming from about 10th or 12th back is not a bad thing.
Yeah, because you can get some momentum when they create these gaps, and you see some of them. That's not a gap. That's closed up pretty tight. Jason Leftward giving a bump draft to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Guys, I still believe we have not seen the last of our pole sitter, Ryan Newman, as he tries to get his way back up there. He had dropped back early on, is now making his way back up.
Yeah, where's Brad Keselowski going to go here? Is he going to try to go to the inside, or is he going to help his car owner there, Dale Jr., on the outside?
Yeah, he checked to see what name was on that paycheck. And now here he goes, pushing the boss man to the lead here.
There we go. Oh!
Whoa, and Kyle comes right up in front of Dale Jr. to try to slow that momentum, but Jr. just goes around him anyway.
That was risky.
Yeah, and the problem was that Jr. made such a move there that Brad couldn't get his car to that point.
Still got the job done. Got that 5 car out front. That's exactly what Jr. wanted.
Now the rookie Allgaier pushing Leffler. It's a Dodge and Toyota, the 38 and 12 down on the inside as they try to attack Dale Jr.
Yeah, and the 18's hung out by himself out there. See, Matt Kenseth decided to go with Brad Keselowski in the 88. Still no help for the 18.
And Brian Vickers at 32. He's got a strong horse.
Yeah, been solid all day, hasn't he?
Coming up on the outside now with help from Keselowski.
Earnhardt Jr. will pull up in front of Vickers. He knows that his teammate Keselowski is trying to push Vickers by.
Here comes Vickers on the outside.
Well, he tried to make that move. Keselowski stayed there to help Jr.
Vickers should have known that was going to happen.
Sometimes that's what we've talked about. You have that urge and that surge, and you sometimes just have to temper that. But he had such a run, he had to try to take the lead. But it's really costing Brian Vickers. You can see him dropping back. He'll be outside the top 10 here in just a second.
The 17 laps is a long way to go here. Still a lot of time for these guys to get up there. And that's a long time for Junior to try to block for the win.
Yeah, definitely. You see Vickers fell all the way back to where he's got Kyle Busch on his bumper now.
We still have 30 cars on the lead lap, and we've got 36 cars right there together within a second and a half of the lead. David Reagan in the 6th car, about in 7th spot.
88-12.
Here comes Newman on the inside, actually in the middle.
Here's our pole sitter right there with Joey Logano, who has a fast race car. He's been up in the top 5 a lot of the day.
We showed you that fabulous finish here 2 years ago when Bobby Labonte and Tony Stewart came from about 15th in the final 2 laps. Ryan Newman now starting to pick his way back toward the front in a Kevin Harvick-owned car. We haven't talked much about Carl Edwards, who's also still in the hunt in the middle of that pack. Let's check in his pits. Jamie.
Well, Doc, remember, he led early on, and then all of a sudden he's been gone. Well, last pit stop right beforehand, he took matters into his own hand and decided, well, I'm going to fall back because I have a feeling the big one's going to happen. He went back as far as 25th. Well, so far everything has been fine. He's having to pick them off one at a time by himself. Carl Edwards on the move right now, 12th, Doc.
And the 28 car having a good run as well, Jamie. Kenny Wallace in that Border Patrol Chevy. Kenny always runs well on the super speedways and really getting his job done today.
He's great on these racetracks, and Talladega especially. He knows when to time this surge. Right now you see he's going backwards, but he can time that thing to get to the front when it counts. That's at the end.
Yeah, business has definitely picked up here. You see Matt Kenseth going for the lead. His teammate David Reagan helping him out.
Look at Newman going 4 wide on the outside going into 1.
Almost had his Penske teammate Justin Allgaier shove him up in the wall. He's able to get by, so it's now hello Newman at the front of the pack.
Man, business definitely picked up here.
Now here's Allgaier now. He's got shuffled back. He's 4 wide.
Saw the 75 of Bobby Gerhart there in the middle of this pack too. He started in 5th today. Had to start it though. He actually qualified 5th. He had to start at the back of the pack because of the change that they made.
Tony Raines in the 34 car was in the top 10 last time by. A lot of guys having great runs.
We talked about Talladega surprises in our countdown show and how many drivers you never thought might have a shot. Dale Jarrett said anybody can win it. Tony Raines, wow, how special would it be for this team if he could pull it off?
Oh, man, it'd be huge. What a good job he's doing right here. Got Dale Jr. tucked up right behind him.
Yeah, back on the inside. Morgan Shepherd in the middle of this mix. He's run up there all day long.
A year ago, Morgan Shepherd led this race. He has led it today. He finished 13th. He said it was that win.
Out of control goes Kenseth.
Over on his roof.
Get back on the wheels.
A wild ride for the Daytona 500 winner, Matt Kenseth.
You see Matt moving in there. You can see him trying to get the window net down. There he comes out.
He's coming out. That's good to see. That was Katie Kenseth, his wife there. That's a scary moment for anybody. Definitely a scary moment for Matt.
See Matt a little bit frustrated, angry.
Didn't see exactly what caused that. We just saw him kind of bounce out of line there.
Just know at this time of the race that the guys are going to start giving less and bumping harder. And all it takes is just a little bit there when you're in the middle and no saving. Just a testament to the safety of these cars, too. They can take a lick like that. We're seeing Matt's in second place right here behind Ryan Newman. See what happens. He goes to block.
Comes back in line. It looks like he may get a tap. Yeah, he gets a tap from David Reagan.
Yep.
Car gets out of shape and then just pirouettes on its left side and goes over.
And we talk about the bump drafting has to be done on the straightaway, and you can see even on the straightaway, if you get hit too hard, it just takes the steering wheel out of your hands as a driver.
This was the scary part right here when he's on his roof for so long. Looked for a minute like he might save it, but then got down there. Golly, this is tough.
Yeah, and Matt really did a great job. If he goes up in front, he takes out 15 or 18 cars, so he did a great job of not creating that situation.
Let's see what Dale Earnhardt Jr. saw here as the contact took place right in front of him.
So everybody jockeying for position here. Oh, Matt gets a shove.
Three wide.
There's some damage actually on the left rear of the 18.
Wreck it down low. You're clear right there. Clear all around. They wreck behind you.
John West Townley going by. You see, he sees Kenseth's car just rolling over side by side.
And you could see in that last shot from Dale Jr.'s that it literally lifted the back of the car off the ground whenever David Reagan.
Yeah, you see the back end come off the ground on the 16. There's just no way to control that. It's a strange way to see one flip. You don't normally see them do that.
No, but these cars have a liftoff point of getting off the ground of about 170 miles an hour. And no matter, even with all these safety innovations that NASCAR has put into these cars, these cars get in that right situation or wrong
they have
situation.
to get in the perfect spot. Yeah.
Second time in 3 years we've seen a car go on its roof here. 2 years ago it was Kyle Busch who had a violent rollover down the back straightaway. And now this year it is another veteran in Matt Kenseth and the 18 car on pit road.
He had a lot of damage to that left rear, so they had to fix that, and see him still working on it. He was the only car coming down pit road for service.
Yeah, I said it a while ago, as bad as this is for Matt Kenseth, he did a terrific job not to create a really huge accident.
Ryan Newman had come from 19th on the restart all the way back up front to lead it. That's what was going on right behind him as the contact between a couple of Roush Fenway teammates sends the 16 over on its roof. Fortunately, Matt Kenseth able to walk away. Back to the green in just a moment.
Welcome back to the Aaron's 312 at Talladega Superspeedway. Big drama just moments ago. Matt Kenseth flipped multiple times. He has escaped, and you have a smile on your face. Matt, what do you recall moments before you were flipping?
Well, first of all, I'm only smiling because I landed right side up. So that's the only reason I'm smiling. Kyle had a run, and I tried to block the top, and I couldn't get up there in time. And I pulled to the bottom. I saw David there, but I was well clear. And, David hit me as I was turning back down in there to bump draft me. You just can't hit somebody when they're turning. The cars aren't just stable enough for that. So I felt David hit me, and then the car just spun out. And then really I was just hanging on, hoping I ended up right side up.
Your boss, Jack Roush, walking in now. We're getting ready for the restart. So the 6 car a little aggressive on that?
Well, I mean, everybody's shoving and pushing it down there. He actually pulled to the bottom, and he was hitting me real hard to try to, help me and give me position. So I don't know. I know I was clear, and I pulled in front of him, and he just hit me square from the back. But, when a car's switching lanes, just can't run in the back from them. They're going to spin out.
Big sigh of relief. His wife, Katie Kenseth, very pregnant. She's here with her man, Matt Kenseth, and he's okay. Doc.
Thanks, Jamie. Glad to see Matt okay. A little frustrated, but understandable after you tumbled there at 190+ miles an hour. Well, inside of 10 laps to go, Ryan Newman trying to get the win for Kevin Harvick Incorporated. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is there. And how about Tony Raines, who has never won a nationwide race, making his 201st start back in 3rd spot.
He's in a great spot to maybe get a chance to win this thing.
Anything can happen. You get down to the last lap of this, these drivers start fanning out trying to win. See, Dale Jr. is just all over the back of Ryan Newman here, just trying to get away. What they'd like to do is just put a little distance. You're not going to get far away, but if you can get a few laps going.
One thing I've noticed, Junior, he's able to put his car right against another car without really bumping hard, but really putting the bumper right next to the car in front of him.
Ryan Newman, if you just joined our coverage, was the pole sitter. First time he's ever driven a NASCAR Nationwide Series race on Daytona or Talladega in a restrictor plate track. Oh, trouble. That is Stephen Wallace.
Right side torn up pretty bad here.
And that will bring out the caution once again here with 8 laps to go.
A lot of mess on the track over there.
Stephen, one of the cars
bud, come on, get it on pit road.
On the lead lap was having a good run, expecting another top 10
right
finish.
side.
Try not to tear the fender off it if it's not already there. Go.
Yeah, they got a lot of damage here. See, it looked like he blew a tire, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that could. You talk about a lot of debris over there. That could have happened right from the beginning of the Matt Kenseth deal. I'm sure NASCAR got the track cleaned up very well, but that could have happened initially, and you don't want to pit during this time.
Caution now for the 4th time today. The hard impact by the 2nd generation driver, Stephen Wallace. Ryan Newman, our leader, Earnhardt Jr., Raines, Reagan, and Keselowski. You're watching ESPN on ABC.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC, brought to you by Lotrimin Ultra, the one-week killer cure for athlete's foot. And Toyo Tires. Toyo Tires are driven to perform.
Fewer than 6 laps remaining here in the Aaron's 312 at Talladega, and it is Ryan Newman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Raines, David Reagan, and Brad Keselowski. Now, I mentioned David Reagan because he was one of the principals in the contact for the most violent impact of the day that took place back on lap 104. Reagan moving in behind his teammate, the 16 car of Matt Kenseth.
So he moves back in line just in front of his teammate and gets this big bump shove. Unintentional, but man, what a violent crash this was.
And we were able to talk to Matt Kenseth, and he obviously frustrated, but he's okay. And here's what David Reagan had to say on the radio after this contact.
Matt's all right there. He came back down. We had a run. I gave him a shot.
And after that, in fact, his crew chief, Mike Kelly, went over to talk to the crew chief, Eddie Pardue, of the 16, to apologize and try to convey that information. Well, who's it going to be here at Talladega? Ryan Newman making his first ever start in the nationwide car here for Kevin Harvick. Remember, he drove Harvick's truck last year the first time and won at Atlanta. Could he do the same thing in the nationwide car here at Talladega? Will it be Dale Earnhardt Jr.? How about Tony Raines, who's never won a nationwide race, making his 201st start? What about an underdog getting that kind of run here today?
That's just a perfect example of a guy taking a car that, you know, and nothing against these guys, but it's not, you know, shouldn't be capable of running up there at most places. Tony Raines has brought it to the front here. Has a great opportunity right in front of him.
Behind him, David Reagan, who had finished 3rd and 4th in the 2 Cup races here a year ago, did a great job in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car, trying to get his first nationwide win.
Still single file. You see Junior just tucked right up on that 33 car Newman.
Yeah, and if he can stay that close, it's going to make it tough for anybody to get a run behind them to try to go to that outside until Junior decides he's going to go.
I think Junior is going to be the one that's going to trigger this, the moves here when he makes his decision.
We saw him last year try to pass Tony Stewart down the back straightaway, and it didn't work out for him there, so it'd be interesting to see how long he waits.
Kerry Earnhardt tried to jump on the outside there, but nobody went with him.
4
Trying to get
laps
back
to
in
go.
line.
And look at that high line.
They're a ways back, but it's definitely formed up there with Kyle Busch and Michael McDowell right on his bumper.
Well, he's got a fast race car. Michael McDowell showing that he has a fast race car. He's been on that high side a number of times and gone to the front today.
4 laps to go. We've had a caution here inside of 5 laps the last 6 years in a row. Will we get another yellow flag, or will he stay green and mix it up to the finish?
Okay, Justin Allgaier saw that run coming.
Back to the 6.
He jumps up on the outside.
Yeah, Kyle Busch actually got away from his pushing partner there, the 47, a little bit, so that hurts him.
A little tire smoke there off of Kerry Earnhardt, making contact with the lower group there.
And these NASCAR fans here at Talladega on their feet, they know that.
Oh,
Allgaier gets tapped, and he comes sideways across and slams the inside wall. The 75 car Bobby Gerhart, who was having a great run also in the top 10.
I'm fine. Sorry, boys. Sorry.
You're hearing Allgaier say that he's fine as he's sliding across the racetrack. Now the winning net comes down. That's a sign that he's okay. They do that for the safety workers so they know that the driver's okay.
Well, we are now 7 years in a row with a caution flag inside of 5 laps to go.
Bobby Gerhart having a great run too, and he's taken out in this.
Bobby, an infrequent competitor here in the Nationwide Series, a 6-time winner in ARCA competition. Had a hard hit in the ARCA race here yesterday. And there's our leading Rookie of the Year contender, Justin Allgaier. We can see what happened. Left side of your screen.
It's starting to heat up here, and you see Allgaier jumping on the outside of Kerry Earnhardt. Oh, he gets a tap from Kyle Busch.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been a little bit loose right before then, though.
You know, we heard that. They're talking about his car was not handling well. They've been had been making adjustments on it. He definitely was loose just before Kyle Busch got into the back of it.
You see, that car starts to actually, you lose the nose right there, and you give it a little bit of wheel, and I think Justin Allgaier tried to do that to keep it out of the outside wall, and it just snapped around, and then Kyle Busch may have gotten into the back of him then, but it wasn't anything that was Kyle Busch's fault. It doesn't look like.
Poor Bobby Gerhart all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Side to 18 is with you. 1 inside. 18 just wrecked us here. Just pushed us off of 3. Hold on, Justin.
See, the problem there is you want to try to run within inches of these other cars, and when somebody does have to get off the throttle, there's no time to react.
Right.
Thankfully, that inside wall has the safer barrier where they came down across, and there's the 23-year-old who has been just so impressive in his Rookie of the Year effort in 2009. There's the 50-year-old Bobby Gerhart getting a little bit of an assistance from safety crews here, walking gingerly over. And the crowd able to see Bobby climb out of the car, standing and applauding the fact that the driver awake and alert after that hard of an impact. Back with the finish after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Down to the settling moments of the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. Those 312 miles, not enough to decide this one. Going to a little bit of overtime. Green-white-checkered, meaning we'll have the restart with the green flag, the white flag signaling the last lap, and then the checkered flag. If the caution comes out anywhere in there, the race is over instantly at that point, which sets up a couple of very interesting issues here. Before we get the restart, let's hear what the guy running in second and third are thinking. First, the third place team. Shannon?
Alan, down here with Scott Eggleston. Your driver is currently running third. It sounds like it's going to be a green-white-checkered. At what point does he make his move to get this win?
I'm not sure we make a move. We just stay behind the 5, and if it goes to the airport, we go to the airport. Run pretty good. Long John Silver Chevy's running pretty good. Got lucky on it. Got to get a push up top and got to the front and just been able to stay there. So I just hope we can maintain, stay where we're at.
All right, you heard him say it's luck for this team right now. Vince?
With Kevin Harvick, the owner of the 33 car driven by Ryan Newman, first place, green-white-checkered. Kevin, if you were in that seat, would you feel in control or would you feel vulnerable?
I'd feel a lot more in control than I do sitting here. All the guys on our Ream Chevrolet have done a great job today. Ryan's done a great job, and you just don't ever know which way to go and at this point, and you just hope that you get some pushers behind you, and that's pretty much what it's going to come down to.
Kevin Harvick a bit nervous up here on the box. Alan?
What about the radio communication between the driver of the second place car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his team?
I know you know this, that 33 is real strong by itself, so just a little information for you.
Oh, yeah, he ain't leading the race for nothing.
Yeah, 10-4, I got you.
He just let me handle it. Don't try to talk me out of nothing.
Well, DJ, if you're handling it, you know that the cars take a little while to get up to speed with the restricted engine, but if the caution comes out, the race is over. What are you thinking? What are you doing?
I think you got to make any move that you can, but he can't do it by himself, and he's going to need Tony Raines or David Reagan or his teammate Brad Keselowski to get up there and give him that push, because that 33 car is very, very strong.
Sounded to me like Junior had a plan, though.
I'm sure he does.
Well, you don't win 7 times in restrictor plate racing in the world's greatest stock car series without having a plan. Can he do it here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series? Green-white-checkered flag. Only one shot, as Alan told you, and we'll see what Junior's got up his sleeve. Ryan Newman in the 33 car, the pole sitter now trying to hold on, and Dale Jr. trying to get that mojo back and get to victory lane here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
You know, watching Junior push him, he might think if he can pull out and pass him, or at least get up beside him, because otherwise he wouldn't be pushing Ryan Newman out there that far.
And he is right on that bumper.
And he's got no drafting help behind him, so he apparently thinks that he can make something happen, and he just wants to make it between the two of them.
Dave Burns.
DJ, that's exactly right. When they were slow together, he thought maybe that Newman was dragging the brake. He said, man, let him hang out. Go, 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 and we'll go. And then we'll settle it between the two of us.
Okay, here we go. He's got one more shot right here.
Tony Raines is still right there. Here comes David Reagan, Brad Keselowski.
Off of turn 2, 4,000 foot back straightaway. Here they go, 3 wide. Keselowski, his teammate, is up there. Is he going to get up there and push Earnhardt Jr. by?
That's what Junior needed, was somebody he could really count on, but Brad can't get there quick enough. I think Junior's just waiting until he gets to the tri-oval here to try to make that move.
Turn 3. Remember, the start-finish line is all the way down in turn 1, so if you make the pass, you don't want to make it too early.
Here we go. We got to see Junior go here. Oh, here comes Tony Raines to the inside.
Junior up high. David Reagan is there. And here comes David Reagan.
How about Joey Logano coming in third?
David Reagan gets the win at Talladega. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Thank you, boys. Good job, baby. How about that?
This guy's overdue.
How about that for David Reagan? Folks, we told you that Dave was all about the draft, and a young man, a Georgia product, Matthew Stafford, led the day in the NFL draft, and another Georgia product from Unadilla, Georgia, leads the day in the Talladega draft.
Well, you know what? Last week I said he's got to show me. Well, he showed me right there.
How about Doc telling us yesterday in the production meeting that David Reagan was going to win one of these 2 races? Now he's the only guy that can win both of them.
You're right, Doc.
You're welcome.
That's okay. Good job, David Reagan.
That was a great job.
And Mike
great
Kelly,
job.
this whole crew.
Yeah.
You could hear the fans on their feet cheering. Probably no one cheering as loud as this guy you're standing with, Vince.
Mike Kelly's been a part of a Cup championship team. He's been a part of a Daytona 500 winning team. Now you've got a nationwide victory. I want you to put this nationwide win in perspective with those 2 other jewels.
It's tough, you know, that to lead this group of guys for 3 years and this driver for the last 2, and put the pressure on them week in and week out that we do, and the equipment Jack Roush and Ford gives us and discount tires, the money to do what we do. It's been long coming, and we've been close, and we talk about it and we work hard every week, and we got great teammates and we see the success they have. It's unbelievable. Like I said, I've been a part of a lot of Cup wins. I've been a part of championships. I can't thank Jimmy Finnegan enough. He's taught me everything I know about treating guys and taking care of the team and taking care of the company. And like I said, I can't thank Jack Roush, Jimmy Finnegan, Ford, Discount Tires, all our sponsors that make us do what we do, and it's unbelievable.
You hear the emotion in the voice of Mike Kelly and what this win means for this 6 Discount Tire team.
And Vince, those of us that have talked to him in the garage area the last few months know how much he has waited for this day. He has wanted so much to put that young man in victory lane.
Nothing like it. You can see right there, that emotion is carries you a long way.
Tell you somebody else is going to be pretty excited is that young man's dad, Ken Reagan, who I raced against and has been around this sport for many, many years, and he's going to be one proud papa right now.
Has to go through this little spoiler check right here, and then he can go to victory lane.
Well, it was the 3rd green-white-checkered we've had, and back in 2007, it was Bobby Labonte who made the last lap pass. This year, it was David Reagan who made the pass work on the outside on a great Talladega finish. Let's go down and visit with Joey Logano.
Doc, Joey Logano, 3rd, another great run for this 20 team. Your first nationwide race here at Talladega. What did you think?
It was wild, believe me. It was a lot of fun to bring old David to his first victory. We've been friends forever, running Legends cars back in Georgia, and to push him to his first nationwide win was cool. Obviously, I'd like to be in victory lane with the GameStop Toyota, but I tell you, that was exciting. The last 15 laps was out of control. I couldn't believe it. I come over to Ray, I was like, this is nuts out here. And I feel like I learned a lot today. I want to apologize to Michael Waltrip. I didn't mean to get in the back of him there. I mean, we tried to bump draft, and the Cup cars, it works through the corners a little bit better, and the bumpers around on here. So learned my lesson on that one. But I tell you, the guys did awesome. You know, Dave Rogers and the gang worked on this car all day. We overheated a little bit at the beginning, and I was able to fix that. And yeah, everyone did a great job.
Well, a hard day's work for this 20 team here today, but they bring it home 3rd.
Great job for the 18-year-old Logano. So, folks, again, a typical Talladega finish. The drivers who were 1st and 2nd in turn 4 finished 2nd and 5th. And watch Reagan come all the way up to the outside and just nip the 33 car of Ryan Newman.
What a finish.
Yeah, just a great job.
I couldn't tell which cars to watch. I couldn't tell who had the momentum. I mean, right here, you just don't think that David Reagan can win this thing.
But he gets a little bit of a push there from Logano. See a little contact.
I'm going to ride with Ryan Newman, see what he felt. First in contact with Junior.
Yeah, that broke Junior's momentum. Here comes David Reagan right in the middle then.
And that, my friends, is what Talladega is all about. A hold-your-breath, white-knuckle finish. And David Reagan has won at Talladega.
Next week, the Nationwide Series stat page will say first win, David Reagan, right here at Talladega. Tell us about coming around the outside and getting it.
Well, that was an exciting race. You know, we had some water temperature problems at the beginning, and Mike Kelly and all the team did a great job. Just very proud of our Discount Tire Ford Fusion team. We've been waiting for this for a long time. I didn't know if it would come this weekend or not, but A lot of fun, a lot of emotions. We got 500 miles to do it again tomorrow. So just got to thank the fans for coming out here, thank Nationwide, you know, Coca-Cola, Valvoline, certainly UPS, a lot of people for standing behind me. We've had a lot of fun, and hopefully there's some more of these things.
Now, we can go back and look at the tape, but do you remember where you were with 1 lap to go and thinking about how am I going to get there?
Well, you know, I was kind of content with the top 5. No one seemed to be able to really run on the outside and really push hard. And, you know, I got to give credit to Joey Logano. He helped me out, an old Legends car buddy. You know, I just kind of saw him beating and banging there first and second and said, what the heck, let's jump to the outside and see what we can make of it. And we did a good job. Like I said, Mike Kelly and our whole Discount Tire team, very proud of him. And Eric Darnell takes over next week, so I guess a good way to end of a little stretch.
David, you won the race. You'll have a conversation with your teammate in the 16, Matt Kenseth. How do you think that will go?
Well, certainly we all try to cut each other a lot of slack, and it looked like Matt was going up the hill. They had a good run, and I thought that I had a good run on the bottom. And, you know, he came back down about the time that I was there at his left rear quarter, and certainly feel bad for the 16 City Financial team and Jack Roush. It cost him a good finish, you know, but we'll chat a little bit, and I'm sure that we'll move on. Like I said, we got 500 miles tomorrow, and we'll try to do it again.
Turning back to victory lane here, you know Mike Kelly has been working at this for a while. This whole team has stayed behind you. What does this mean to you guys?
It means a lot. You know, these are a lot of guys. It's probably their first time in victory lane, and certainly we all came into the series with you know, one thing in mind, and that was to be successful and try to win races. And you know, it's been a good 2 years, but it's been rough at times. So certainly feels good to win here, and we don't need to make this the last one or the only one for a little while. So maybe it'll give us some drive to keep digging.
Go celebrate with these guys. David Reagan in victory lane at Talladega.
Oh my, how NASCAR, one racetrack that gave his father his most violent day in terms of bad wrecks, gives the son a cherished memory he will never forget. David Reagan, the 23-year-old, finally in his 85th career start, is a NASCAR Nationwide Series winner here at Talladega. The Aaron's 312 at Talladega is history for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and we told you that if you watch this racing at Talladega, you would not be disappointed. What a finish, and what a day for former Rookie of the Year Ken Reagan, who won for the first time in his career. And how about the guy who was leading out of turn 4 on the last lap? Shannon.
Doc Crew Chief Ernie Cope just came up to me and said, why don't they have that start-finish line where they used to have it on the racetrack a little bit further down? Walk me through that last lap, or I guess the last half a lap.
Well, we had a good situation there with Junior behind us. He was pushing us, kept it pretty tight, and I was kind of running about half, 3/4 throttle, and I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but it was good enough to finish second. I knew what Junior was going to try to do, and I blocked that. I just didn't expect the 6 car to come sneaking up through 3 wide. Great race for the Ream Chevrolet today. Those guys, got to thank them, and Kevin and Delana for the opportunity to drive the race car.
Now the car looked strong. The 33 car, you know, single car team in this Nationwide Series. How strong was that engine today?
The ECR engines were great. You know, got to thank those guys. They were good enough to get on the pole, and they were good enough to win the race. We just didn't get the right position at the right time. And you know, thank everybody for all their support at KHI. I guess they're leading the owners' points now, and that's one of their goals too.
That's right. That 33 car is leading the owner points. Ryan Newman did his job here today.
Fourth different driver for Kevin Harvick, and obviously another great finish for KHI with Ryan Newman bringing that car home in second position. Now, one of the rookie drivers we thought would end up with a top 5 finish went away in the final laps. A very, very hard crash by Justin Allgaier, top of your screen there in the 12 car.
So he gets a little tap from Kyle Busch, and then he goes and makes contact with Bobby Gerhart. This was a pretty hard impact for both these cars.
Well, we have caught up with Justin Allgaier. Let's talk with him. Jamie?
Justin Allgaier, another solid performance. First time here in the Nationwide car, but it ended early. Are you okay?
Yeah, we're definitely fine. It's just a shame for other guys in the Verizon Wireless Dodge. You know, we had such a good run, and we put ourselves in position. You know, we knew we weren't going to win the race right there at the end, but, you know, Kyle, I know he's trying to come back to the front after coming down pit road, but just it was a bad call. You know, I know we're supposed to show respect to the Cup guys, and sometimes you don't get it back. So just a rough day, like I said, for all the guys on the team, and we'll go get them next weekend.
You were standing here watching the finish of the race with me. David Reagan is a guy that you guys pretty much have raced together in ARCA. Your thoughts seeing him in victory lane for the first time?
Well, it's definitely cool, you know, to see the end in the way that it did. You know, it was really neat to see him win his first race here, and you know, it would have been nice to be up there with him and be able to race up there and maybe get the victory ourselves. But you know, I'm congratulate to him, and hopefully we can do that somewhere else here real quick.
I have a feeling you're going to be in victory lane before too long. That's Justin Allgaier.
Thanks, Jamie. After 8 races, let's take a look at the NASCAR Nationwide Series point standings. Kyle Busch actually led 31 laps today and finished 10th, and he will extend his points lead. It was 47 coming in, now 62 points over Carl Edwards. And of course, there's Reagan, who will not run the full schedule but gets the win today. Now, Kyle Busch, back-to-back top 10 finishes and expanding on that points lead. He was standing by with Vince.
Kyle Busch led the most laps, finished ahead of Carl Edwards. So from a championship perspective, are you pleased with how the day worked out?
No, not at all. But, you know, the Z-Lines Toyota was fast and deserved to be up there at the front. Just keep getting caught up in wrecks, none of our own doing for no reason during races.
There's Kyle Busch. As you can tell, not totally pleased with the day he had today, but in hindsight, guys, the big picture, I think he's got to be pretty happy with still having the points lead after this one here at Talladega.
Well, Kyle Busch not happy with the performance today. He'd like to obviously had a top 5, but one driver I've got to believe that has to be ecstatic with the performance of this whole team today. Tony Raines coming home in 4th position. Shannon.
Doc, at the beginning of the show, we all picked our draft picks for today. I think someone should have gone with Tony Raines. We did speak with your crew chief right before that last run. He said he didn't think you guys were going to try to make a move, but when you saw everything that was going on in front of you, did you think about it?
I thought about it even on the last restart. I thought that if Junior would turn Newman and get him loose and I could slip by, I could win. But on the other hand, I thought if he turns Newman and collects me, I could finish, 30th. So, it was a flip of a coin. But I got on Junior down the backstretch, and I never let off. I was trying to push him by Newman, and Newman was trying to block him. So very rarely do you see, a second or third place car win on a green-white-checker. But, they were yelling at us about laying back, and then Reagan laid back a little bit, and he caught up, and he won the race, But it was exciting, and to come out of here and finish in one piece for me at Talladega is saying something. So we had a lot of fun today, and it's a good shot in the arm for myself and the team.
Yeah, how important is this for you guys? You guys are still looking for full sponsorship for this team.
Yeah, we could, we're underfunded and we could sure use some help, but Bob Jenkins he's doing this on the pocketbook that he has, and we don't always have the best stuff, but we have a lot of enthusiasm and we work hard and trying to do the best we can with what we have. And a day like this really makes us feel good all the way around, and look forward to doing it some more.
Well, this money will be good for Tony Raines, a 4th place finish for the 34. Vince?
Jason Leffler, 2nd last weekend in Phoenix, 6th today. In the crush there at the finish, where were you, and did you feel like you had any opportunity at all to maybe put this a little higher up?
Well, yeah, my race started 6th and had a whole lot of action on that last lap to finish 6th. So 20 was with me. I jumped up too soon, and he filled the gap. And luckily, Kyle Busch came along and gave me a shove, and then the 88 did. So we still ended up 6th. So all in all, it wasn't too bad. Great Clips car was good again, solid. Scott made an adjustment on that last pit stop, and it really picked it up. Got to thank everybody at the Fab Shop, John Dicing, everybody at Triad, and of course the pit stops have been awesome all year. So thank everybody, Great Clips, all their support. We got a great year going on.
Another good points day for the 38. Doc?
Indeed it was for Jason Leffler. And folks, if you liked what you saw here in NASCAR Nationwide Series action, you can get a ticket to the race. You can follow our exclusive coverage. Next week we're at Richmond, then at Darlington. Of course, Charlotte, Dover, Nashville. Tickets are available, www.nascar.com/tickets. And so the full 35 race, $55 million schedule for the NASCAR Nationwide Series right here on our family of networks. And what a finish today for David Reagan. And we talked about it being a family sport. And I wonder what the thoughts are of Ken Reagan, the dad of David, on his son's big day.
And think about it this way, Doc. 25 years ago today, Ken Reagan lay in a hospital after a huge wreck in the ARCA race right here at Talladega. Flip to today, and your son's in victory lane. What's the emotion like, Ken?
Don't remind Beverly of that. She was here, and she's got to go through tomorrow. But, these guys back here, they've given David good equipment for the last 3 years, and he was beginning to get a little bit frustrated. I could see it in him this year. Mr. Roush and the Fenway group up there, they've had him good equipment, good people, good pit stops. have really put their heart and soul into developing him, but he came in with a lack of experience, and I think they knew that, and they've been patient. We have too. This is a big day for the Reagans, I'll tell you. What a miracle, and we're going to get one for Ed Clark down there in Atlanta one day on his home track, but here at Talladega, we wouldn't trade this place for nothing in the world. This was one of my favorites.
Beverly, can you tell us what it means to you? You've been watching race a long time.
I've been involved a long time, and this is just a great moment. This is one of the greatest, and we'll have many more. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Beverly and Ken Reagan in victory lane now as the celebration goes on behind them. Their son is a first-time winner in the 3 major series, guys. Didn't win in the truck race yet, still waiting for his first Cup win. Nationwide victory #1 for David Reagan today.
Imagine that on the anniversary 25 years ago of that violent impact when his dad went out of here and had to go to the hospital and was seriously injured. Son David has his biggest day in NASCAR as a first-time Nationwide Series winner. Now remember, in the crash that involved Justin Allgaier, he came across the track and trying to mind his own business down there was Bobby Gerhardt in the 75. There's Gerhardt who gets taken out, and both these cars go head-on toward the inside wall. We saw Bobby getting helped out of the car and seemed a little bit ginger going to the ambulance, and now our Jamie Little has caught up with it.
And he's here at his hauler. He was sitting down, just took a look at the replay. First of all, how are you feeling? We saw you get some help getting released from the car.
It's been a long weekend, but first of all, I'd like to thank Lucas for coming along this weekend. This happened after a rough weekend. We started this after a rough weekend at Daytona and decided to try a couple bush races, and it was our goal to come here, run good, and just try to come away with a decent finish.
And you had a tough night last night in the ARCA race as well, but good to see you're in good spirits. But you just saw the replay. Tell me what you saw happen.
Well, it wasn't really much I could do, as you can see there. It looked like looks like someone just made a miscue and then just started a mess. It's unfortunate. I really don't know who it was. I don't know what they were thinking, but with that many little laps to go, I don't know where they thought they were going to go anyway. It's unfortunate. Knocked some good cars out of some well-deserved finishes, but that is what it is. We'll come back, get them again.
Solid run to the end. Good to see Bobby Gerhardt is okay. Doc?
Great to see Bobby okay. 50 years of age and a great super speedway driver. 6-time winner, 5 of those coming at Daytona in ARCA competition. Now, how about another run, a good run for a young gun? Brad Keselowski with a top 10 finish, standing by with Vince.
That's right. After 3 straight third-place finishes, he's 9th today. You told me before the race today, and I asked you, when do you know when to go? And you said it's go all day long. What was the difference between when you were out front leading Dale for so many laps and then ultimately not being able to stay there?
Well, you know, when you're out front and you've got a teammate like Dale behind you, man, you become invincible. And we worked together really well today. Would like to have gotten to him there on the last lap. I feel like we could have won the race, but just didn't work out. But strong Klondike Chevrolet, and Junior Motorsports should be proud of these 2 cars, man. They were good. They were fast all day, and just didn't quite work out. But the effort was there, and we're going to keep digging on it. Can't wait to come back here next year.
I know the championship was a big goal for this team, and it started off rough, but you've put together 4 top 10s in a row. Are you still in the mix for the championship? You came into this race at 177 down.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're still in it. We've been gaining points all along. I think Kyle finished behind me, but he led the most laps, so we didn't quite gain points on him. So, but we still have been running strong enough, and it's coming. We're just running so well that I know we can win races, and we can still run for this championship, and we showed that here again today.
Brad Keselowski strong in the 88 this afternoon. Shannon Spake.
Vince, I think one of the highlights of today is when Kerry Earnhardt got together with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the racetrack. Tell me what that was like for you inside that car.
Man, it's pretty awesome. You get up there with Dale Jr. and Brad Keselowski in the 88 car, and you know, a lot of guys worked with me today out there. I was pretty impressed with how many was working with me, and just kind of had a great car. You know, it was a Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car, and Rick Ware and Stanton Barrett, you know, put the deal together, and we entered it in today's race. And a lot of fun, Got a lot of good things coming up. You know, myself and my son Jeffrey trying to do some races, and you know, we got DE Day, Dale Day coming up on May the 15th, I think it is, on Friday, and you know, it's an all-day deal, and want to celebrate that with a lot of the fans. And we're doing the commemorative of Dad's birthday on April the 29th. Just a lot of things going on I'm excited about.
Now, we've heard your brother Dale Jr. say many times that drafting here at Talladega or Daytona is just something that you're born with. You tell me about that. Is this something that you were just born with to get out there and do this?
I hate to say it, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it, you know. It's just, it comes natural. You know, you just, all your thoughts and what the things that you have to do, sudden moves and everything, it all happens all at once and then last minute. So, you know, I think it's bred in you. And, you know, myself and Dale Jr. and Dad was the ones that done the best of it. But, yeah, I just want to say hi to my wife and my kids back home, my daughters, and, you know, my little 5-year-old's out running a horse show. So I missed that to come here to Talladega and had a lot of fun. And, yeah, I think the Fast Wax guys, you know, the Fast Wax Racing Formula, and go to fastwax.com, and they help support this program to get us here today.
All right, it was a great day for Kerry Earnhardt here at Talladega. Doc?
Great to see Kerry have another wonderful finish here, top 15 finish. Well, what does the number 42, a bus full of hostages and a cop killer, have in common? One of the most unusual cases yet. Life as a New York City cop is a 24-hour job, and life in the 2nd Precinct is always unusual. ABC's The Unusuals, all new episode Tuesday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central Time. Well, we did not have the big one in terms of the big wreck today, but we did have a typical big Talladega finish.
Wow, I'll tell you what, that was a heart-stopping race and a heart-stopping finish. I still can't figure out how David Ragan came from where he did in the short amount of distance to win that race, but he really did show what he's made of today.
It just shows how good this series is, especially with this aero package that they run here with the restrictor plates and everything, that it just, you don't know who's going to win, but all these drivers did a terrific job. As you said, we didn't have the big wreck, so that was great to see. Just a lot of competitive spirits out there late in the race, and you could tell I didn't know who won the race because I saw Ragan coming, but I didn't think he was going to get it. I was talking about Joey Logano finishing 3rd, and here comes David Ragan to win the race.
I love the comment at the beginning of the day where anybody in this race, any of the 43 starters could win the race, and Tony Raines, what about a great comeback story?
Oh, man, he was in contention until they got right in front of us, right here at the start-finish line. He still could have won this thing, and it was just a great race and a great opportunity for a lot of race teams. We saw those guys get good finishes, and it was good to see.
I know you know David Ragan very, very well because he drives for a sponsor that was a major part of your life for a number of years. What does this mean to this young man to finally get into victory lane?
Well, it answers a lot of questions, and something that we were talking about just last week, Andy. You're talking about David Ragan. We've talked about a long time, you know, that he's going to win. He's going to win. He finally does that. He's answered that question, and to win here is big. So I think it's a big lift off of his shoulders that he's going to go win some more races here soon, and I think that now his focus is tomorrow to try to get that UPS car into victory lane.
What a great day for drivers with Georgia ties. We talk about the draft. Well, the day began, the NFL draft, with a Georgia quarterback going number 1 in the NFL, Matthew Stafford. And the day ends with an Unadilla, Georgia race car driver, number 1 in the Talladega draft. What a day for David Ragan. Alan?
Doc, Talladega finishes. You never know what's going to happen. David Ragan running 4th when they came to the white flag. He was running 4th when they were just about to the checkered flag, and he wound up winning the race today. A couple of other quick notes. No cautions in the first half of the race, just the one caution at lap 54, just shy of halfway. Then all kinds of cautions in the last 40 laps. Yeah. We had to hold you in your chair to start the day.
Hey, man, this is as good as it gets. They got that one stoplight in Unadilla, Georgia. It's going to be flashing all week long. Celebrating the win by David Ragan. Tony Raines had a great Craftsman Truck Series career. Gets a solid finish today. This is as good as it gets, baby.
34 lead changes, just a couple shy of the record for the Nationwide Series at Talladega. And next week, it's on to Richmond. The Nationwide Series Lipton T250. Coverage starting with NASCAR Countdown, 7 Eastern, ESPN2. And NBA playoff action tomorrow on ABC. Celtics and Bulls, followed by Cavaliers and Pistons. ABC's World News next, or your local news. That's it from Talladega. David Ragan's won.